gentlemen. There we go. See, I had to say it again when the mics were hot, because it was the time to do that anyway, and I'm just like, oh, that's a perfect segue.
Got to mute the stream, I heard it twice.
Rip. Alright, everybody please hold. I'm also desperately farming the lotto at the last minute, and the unthinkable did happen. I accidentally clicked a fucking Ash instead of a Castoria, one of which is more vital than the other to me parsing the node correctly.
Oh, I've given up all pretense of...
I probably could parse it with Ash. It's just require me to fucking use my brain, which I can't do. I'm screaming right now,
I'm just forcing... I'm like, damage up is nice, but, like, I'm just gonna, like, repeatedly suplex this stupid pillar into oblivion.
I just have a thing where Bushi just goes really hard.
I mean, I'm doing the Berserker one because I can't possibly manage the 90+.
That's fair.
7K reliably. I just can't. I still don't have fucking Oberon. I can't do it. And I don't have enough coins to put anybody to like level 120. So like.
I can't do it in one turn. I just.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I can die. If I correctly do the Berserker node, I can 3-turn it. I just have to remember to do it because it's weird. Because I'm once again sending a rash out to die.
I have been throwing my Oberon at the problem. He has helped summon Ibuki.
No, yeah, it's the thing. Oberon's really good. He covers a multitude of sins. I still don't have one. And I can't rely on putting him in one of my support slots because usually you want double Castoria to make everything work. FGO is very funny that way. Much like the just kind of like, oh, just have 125 head, and I'm like, I don't think I own a servant that I have enough coins for that for.
I only have one servant that is going towards 120. He's not even there yet.
I have 2.
And that
They're
is
very obvious who they are.
But if I remember to press the attack up on Plug Suit, I can clear it with Stella. So long as I remember to with my non-grailed Arash, though I think he is fully foed, I can clear them in a wave and then just Melusine kill everybody.
It's like
if the command cards don't work my way, nope, that's the wrong one. I was supposed to see this way. If my command cards don't work, it's like a 4-turn, but who cares?
Sorry, just thinking about doing this with 127s, and I'm just looking at my Kiyohime. I'm like, nah, she can't do it. I love her, but she can't do it.
No. See, this is another reason why for the GSSR I'm aiming for that single target art slot, because an NP2 Melusine would also make this much more consistent, much more reliable, chat. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Welcome back, everybody. Yes. After a little bit of an absence, we've been kind of silent over the holiday weekend because, you know, my house was packed full of family, but we're catching up. We're getting ready for the new year. And so it's time for the regularly scheduled fail portrayal to resume. Let me make sure
Nostalgia edition.
Excuse me. To ping us the Discord.
I don't know if this counts as nostalgia.
It is, because this is both a classic anime and a manga original duel. Is the we have not yet referenced any other uses of Metalmorph anyway. So we're going to talk about Metalmorph as an archetype, or the metal archetype, which involves Metalmorph traps and stuff. This is the day after my birthday. My birthday was yesterday.
Birthday again.
So we're using our usual free pass to get in here because I quite like the new Metalmorph stuff they've done. It's just like with every little bit of vague relevancy Konami has given anything that could be tangentially considered a Red Eyes, keeping in mind that like the Red Eyes cards in this that support Metalmorph are like very bare bonesly associated with literally every other wave of Red Eyes support, as every wave of Red Eyes support has been since I think 2015. But unfortunately, as usual, Konami made like 8 cards and then they were like, that's cool. We couldn't possibly give this cards anymore. People are just going to turn it into Dragon Link. I don't know what we could do to get Konami to actually fucking kill Dragon Link. Not even the World's Wind did. But unfortunately, yes. The Metalmorph deck, because it doesn't have enough cards in it, unfortunately is pretty reliant on sub-engines because, unfortunately, activating Max Metalmorph summons from deck. This is ashable. Now,
feel like
last
it's a
week we
lot
talked a
harder
lot
to
about
kill.
how Ash Blossom may be a card that's on the way out, but for now, it's Ash Blossom.
That would be insane.
Like I said, we talked about this a little last week, but we're in a weird spot where, like I said, it seems like the OCG is kind of trending towards Max C is an outdated and harmful piece of game design. The Mulch armies are much more balanced, so we need to build an environment where it's more likely than not your Mulch armies resolve, because you cannot activate Mulch armies going second. You can't do it. But personally, I'm a little like, I don't want to say worried, because it's like, it's so weird to be part of this full cycle of like, when you get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! In like 2020, Ash Blossom is a fucking devil demon child, like fucks up all your, Boomer and tinny ass combos, and then you realize, oh wait, no, Ash Blossom is actually a super skillful card that is actually like usable.
Omega, I will say this. That is the one thing I have always been aware of, for the simple reason that I play a deck that literally no one knows where to Ash.
Yeah, no, I mean, and if you
Ash
play
my
one of those
DDD
decks, you
combo.
realize...
I dare you. I dare you to Ash my DDD combo.
I think
Which
even
one,
a DDD
motherfucker?
player would be like,
Which
I don't know.
one?
Actually, fuck.
Oh,
I ran into
Omega,
Peter
I don't know
playing-
where you Ash it. I just know where everyone does Ash it. Here's the thing. I know the wrong one. I don't know the right one.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I did run into a couple of people on Master Duel Ladder when there was a decent upswell in playing DDD in Master Duel not too long ago.
Probably.
And I was just like,
probably,
I don't know where the choke point is here.
it's probably Ad from Grave with Griffin. Probably.
But yeah, so like, I am in that state where like I understand the need for like the Mulch armies need to dissolve. Here's one of the problems. Ash Blossom works when you're going second as well as going first. And also, Ash Blossom's a card you draw with the Mulch armies. When you don't have an Ash Blossom in your hand going second, you play a Mulch army so you can draw an Ash Blossom. If you ban Ash Blossom, what are you drawing off a Mulch army? Lightning Vortex? Nobody does that these days. It's a weird one. So we'll see where, especially because the TCG hasn't hit a new ban list in a while. They probably won't before the year ends. So we'll see where they're going. But the Metalmorph deck is very fragile to Ash Blossom, I would say. So you are playing Called By and you are playing Crossy. Because you've got room is the problem. I think Konami did a pretty good idea of making a low-to-the-ground deck. You don't need to play a lot of pieces, a lot of names, because of how good they designed some of these supports. The problem is, I feel like with too many decks that are like slimline engines, is that then you're like, well, what do I do with the other 20 cards in the deck?
I'm not gonna lie, Omega. I don't like this deck because of the average deck list I'm seeing. Do you want to know what the most played card in the Metalmorph deck is?
Bestials?
That's the second most. No.
Close.
You're forgetting the other one.
No, what is the most engine we play?
It's Fiendsmith.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's right. That's not Metalmorph's fault, but yeah, that is one of those things that just like, if you can fit 15 to 20 cards in an extra deck, you can play Fiendsmith. And unfortunately, I will say, this is a deck that is pretty good at getting two bodies on the board, and if you stop the ability to add a Metalmorph trap, then yeah, you would just make Closed Heaven. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's a problem where Konami was a little too modern in its game design. They gave this deck too few cards, and so you have to fill in the gaps because you can't make a 40-card deck playing 3x of these cards, nor would you want to, because some of these cards are technically bricks. They did a pretty good job at not making it brick eyes. All the big level guys are not bricks, but there are bricks in this deck.
Thanks, Omega, for the mental image of Red Eyes Black Dragon shooting bricks out of its eyes like lasers.
No. Brick eyes is blue eyes.
Yeah.
I thought brick eyes was all eyes.
I thought it was blue eyes.
No, it's blue eyes.
Blue eyes is and has been and still is the Brick Eyes deck, because you still have to play at least 2 normal Blue Eyes monsters, and
Red
they're
is actually a
mostly
fairly
dead in
consistent deck.
It
doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Red Eyes' problem has never been consistency. Red Eyes is a very consistent deck because all the Red Eyes spell cards are fucking crazy. And so you just dump half your deck in the graveyard and then you start summoning. Like, it's really interesting. And the Metalmorph part of this deck is also super consistent. So it's a very interesting space. And as you can see, chat, I have a lot to say about this deck because this is one of like a half dozen decks that I have actively built and at least schmoove cruised my way, up through, gold and plat in Master Duel. I don't know if I possess the patience to ever make it to Diamond in Master Duel because I think the coin flip machine hates me.
I made it to Diamond once.
Yeah, I want to do it just for the ring,
again.
but it's like just so I can get like the little permanent achievement and get the little like icon ring and just say that I did it. It's usually not worth the effort to play at that high level, but we can try. We can see what's up. But let's actually pull up. The thumbnail here has the alt art of Metalmorph, which I believe is more true to the anime. Here's the art that most of you are familiar with the classic Metalmorph trap. Metalmorph, of course, being a very oddball trap back in the day.
Looks
Honestly,
like a little guy.
what's one of those cases where, like, trap design is much less consistent, I want to say, than spell card design because they... At some point, Konami was like, no, there are only normal traps, counter traps, and continuous traps. We cannot possibly add a new icon to trap cards. That would go against Kazuki Takahashi's sacred vision. You could make equip traps, Konami. Traps have equipped to cards since Metalmorph, in fact, and since several other continuouses. Metalmorph is not a continuous, it is a normal trap. That's why it's really weird. But Konami probably could have done that and the game would not explode, but we didn't. So you get weird cases where this is a card that equips to a guy, but
it is not an equip spell, which...
It's not an equipped spell, which means it's not searchable in that way, but it is a normal trap, so it's searchable through all of those. It's not a continuous trap, which does mean you don't need to worry about that sort of thing. But the classic Metalmorph...
This card was never played in Classic Yu-Gi-Oh!
Not really. You see it in Playground decks and obviously like in limited series. Like,
well, no, Omega, you didn't, because the only way to get this card was through a video game promo.
For
a
a
long
few years
time.
back in the day, yes, it's true. They started reprinting it around 20.
Dallas, that's why Omega
2007.
did specify playground decks, where kids would be the ones playing.
I mean,
set
it was Forbidden Memories, so like, yeah, I think a lot of kids owned it. Pretty sure. Did I own Forbidden Memories?
Yeah.
I think I did.
I definitely did.
A PSR.
I remember
Maybe
renting
that.
it out.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
PlayStation 1, Forbidden Memories. Ah, yes, that was another classic. That actually has the Metalmorph target in it, and also Pet Dragon for some ungodly reason. Harpy's Pet Dragon. That one probably hurt more than Red Ice Black Metal Dragon. But yes, so Metalmorph is a card that was, it is true to say, was harder to get, so it was not very common. You see it in, like, weird limited series, and like I said, you would see it in the Playground occasionally because it was a video game promo for one of the games that people generally consider to be good. But it was not super popular, and I often wonder if they retrained it into Rare Metalmorph just so they could get more prints. But it is a card that has been printed to death now. It was in multiple battle packs, for instance. I think the first common print of it was in the Machina structure deck, which is a really weird place for it, but they did it. Been printed in several structure decks now. It's in like a bunch of speed duel packs and stuff like that. So the original Metalmorph says, also I should say, this will be important for later, the official name of this archetype of which is searchable is known as Metalmorph in the TCG. In the OCG, it's Metaru Ka, which means metalization, which does mean that those two dumbass union monsters are Metalmorph cards, and if a card ever searches a Metalmorph monster, they will have to get their names changed. However, it is unlikely that that problem will emerge, because they suck. But Lunatite and Solitite are technically Metalmorphs.
Yeah. I mean, Konami might just print it and be like, we don't care. If you want to search these cards, go the fuck ahead.
Well, it's more of a thing of, like, the TCG, you could not search them if you searched a Metalmorph monster because they are Metalizing Parasite, Lunatite, and Solitite. Because all of the Metalmorph cards also have very long subtitles in Japanese. Metalmorph's full name is actually Mataruka Maho Hansha Soko, Metalization magic reflect armor. This is important because in the, I'm pretty sure in both the anime and manga, the card is much better, which is very funny.
Yes.
But the original anime effect is very different.
Granted, I still don't think it would be good enough to have seen play, but it is better.
Yeah. I'm like looking at the Wikipedia and I'm like, is there some sort of tab I can use to switch to the anime version of a card? A redirect, perhaps?
I can get it.
One in the
I have the effect.
normal way. But the normal trap version, the print version, is target a face-up monster, equip this card to that target. It gains 300 attack and defense. If it attacks, it gains attack equal to half the attack of the attack target during damage calc only. This is technically the eroded version with PCST. The pre-errata text is probably more confusing. God, sorry, I looked at the original Forbidden Memories print. After activation, this card is used to equip to a face-up monster. The monster equipped with this card increases its attack and defense by 300 points. When attacking a monster equipped with this card, attacking with a monster equipped with this card, you can further increase its attack by an amount equal to half the attack of your target. Blech. Blech. Awful,
God,
awful
old card
right?
text is hilarious.
It's so over-explaining.
I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has anything quite as bad as old Magic cards, but it's close.
It's very, very gloopy to me. But yes, if you have it, Dallas, what was the original anime effect?
From what I'm seeing from the anime effects, I think it's the same. Let me make sure.
It might just
I'm
be that
looking at the
because it
anime
also
card.
made the machine, which may be an unstated effect, then they were immune to spell cards anyway, because I think Bandit Keith's machines were just immune to magic, because that used to be a thing.
Yeah, after activation, equip this card to a monster. When the equipped monster attacks, it gains attack equal to half target's attack during damage calculation. That's the anime effect.
Okay. So yeah, so the...
It's just, in Season 1, they just lied and made up shit. So...
Well, not necessarily. I mean, yes, they did just make up shit, but it's not that they lied. It's just that the Duelist Kingdom was, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this with Despair before, the English dub cuts out this line for some reason, but in the original Japanese, Pegasus tells Weevil, and tells everybody actually, that there's special rules at the Duelist Kingdom tournament. Only Weevil is told of them ahead of time. So, like, the manga and anime are not supposed to indicate that the Duelist Kingdom is supposed to be the normal version of the rules. It's just that what the abnormal versions of the rules isn't elaborated on. It's not until Battle City where Kaiba explicitly says, by the way, we will be using what are called the advanced rules from the advanced rulebook for my city-spanning Battle Royale tournament.
None of that bullshit where you can shoot the moon. That was dumb.
It's a thing of, yeah, it's just like, for some reason, they don't explain that it's like, it's a special expedition match thing.
I get it, but it actually makes me hate the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not hate. Hate is a strong word, but dislike it.
It is certainly more
because
confusing.
It's just like...
if for nothing else, I think it's remained confusing for people to this day because we still have this argument of just like, oh, they just made up rules in Duelist Kingdom.
I think my favorite
They're always
example,
making rules,
or I guess least favorite example, is an otherwise really well-written, really, like, emotional duel is ruined by the dumbest rule thing ever in using a spell card to polymerize your monster with your opponent's monster somehow makes it a zombie and then weaker.
I mean, I don't think that's crazy, because that's the whole point of he used spell blah 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 arrows to like target an opponent's monster and then fused it with the zombie, so the result should be zombie related. During the original Duelist Kingdom, it was never implied that like sorry, it was Dallas's background. I'm sorry. I was wondering. It was so soft, I was confused for a second. What I was going to say was that it technically, because I don't think they ever discussed the fusion deck in they discussed it anywhere in the original anime run. But since the fusion deck was never mentioned, the show always kind of implied that technically you can polymerize anything. It's just that some of your fusions don't make anything worthwhile. So you specifically polymerize specific monsters to make combined modes. So, like, I could believe it. It is
maybe it's just something in my brain. It's just all the rules in that scene. Like, except for, like, when they're doing special... I guess it made more sense when they're doing weird duels, like the whole labyrinth thing, and, like, at least then the wacky shit makes sense. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that was technically a spell card they activated.
It never made sense.
I mean,
although it made sense,
I'll say this.
wacky.
I'll say this, Loth. You say they never made sense. You probably haven't watched the show subbed, because I will also say this. Like some people believe, the dub edits for Yu-Gi-Oh! Straight up cut out a lot of rules explanations. The people at 4Kids just thought kids would be too dumb and their attention spans were too short. And it was incorrect because they hadn't invented TikTok yet. So, children were stronger back then.
I disagree with that entirely. TikTok
Dallas,
is just Vine with a different coat of paint.
I don't know about
And
that.
this was also before
But
Vine,
guess what?
so...
Also, it was pre-Vine.
That's true.
Because I'm
I don't
talking
know.
about me. And yes, I am, as a millennial, stronger than a TikTok child. I would simply not use ChatGPT. I wrote school essays. It wasn't that hard. Anyway.
I always sucked at them, but that's because I think I just never got engaged. But...
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to say that essay writing is, like, as much of a... Sorry, this is a complete aside. We were literally on the first card, and I've drank an entire large soda, so I need to go piss after this, and then we'll actually do the show. But before I leave, I started to qualify myself. I should say, I think the reason why kids turn to ChatGPT easily and why it's harder to fool is because, unfortunately, it got lost somewhere in the message what the fucking point of essay writing is supposed to be, which is supposed to teach you to be able to, like, no matter where you end up in life, you can, like, critically research, examine, and regurgitate information on a subject. Not everybody is going to need that skill set. I think it's helpful to be able to kind of, like, figure out how to do it in a flash, but people got way too cemented in, like, the concept of, like, oh no, you need to learn how to do MLA format so you can write a college essay so you can get into a college. Why?
Joke's
What's
on
the
you.
purpose
I
of it?
literally never needed to use MLA format.
Oh, no. I actually don't hate every essay I've ever written. Some were quite engaging. And you could argue some of those skills carry over to writing research scripts for videos, like Wanted. My Wanted scripts do not resemble an actual essay format at all. I read a fucking bulleted list. And go down.
Oh my god. What I meant by that is we used APA format.
Also true.
Different
yes.
format.
That's another thing. Is also I think like half the schools in America, if not more, didn't even teach you the fucking college level version anyway. But yeah, it's one of those weird things where like I think that our over reliance on the concept of essay writing to build critical skills makes it very easy for large language models to just eat the 1 billion essays that kids have written before and just spit out something that looks like it. Because we've failed to properly engage them, as Axe said, with what the actual purpose of it is, which is, it's supposed to allow you to be energized on any subject and figure it out, because, unfortunately, I think that is a true-to-life skill, is that no matter what job you end up with in life, you will probably have to do parts of it that are not appealing to you, but if you wish to get paid and survive in our late-stage capitalist society, you will have to suck it up and do some shit that you don't want to do because it's boring as hell. But you got to, because that's your job description.
At least until we all
I will now mute myself and run away while you look at Metalmorph and think about how that's real neato, that thing it does. Super important.
And I really say this. I really wish Battle Tricks were better in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I love Battle Tricks, but like,
You don't
I feel like...
you don't like Kalute? Honest?
Well, that's the thing, is like, I feel like for a Battle Trick to work, it has to be in archetype. Also, they just don't work anymore. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Battle Tricks are one of my favorite genres of cards.
It's very it's
'cause-
distinctly a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, it's just so satisfying to swing at someone and then them being like, all right. And then you'd be like, well, you thought this was the amount of damage you're taking, but actually, you die. Genuinely one of my favorite feelings. Of just being like, but actually, you're dead.
Get fucked.
Like, I built a commander deck for Magic that is no creature commander deck. It's all battle tricks for the commander. Because what he does is like, when he attacks, you can choose a monster, and if its attack is greater, you can draw equal to the difference of power. And if its attack is, it's a tiny foxman, so it's normally very small. And it's like if its attack is less, you get to put something from your hand in the battlefield for free. So most people do that, but I'm like, what if I exploited this other part of it and just made the Foxman commit like nuclear genocide because he has like 30 attack points?
Big bada boom. Anyway, I'm back.
I don't know.
So
I was just lamenting that
Metalmorph.
battle tricks are not a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about this before. Vesper and I especially have waxed that, like, a battle trick ain't nothing. You know, like, way too often you can be caught by surprise by just very slight differences in attack points. Hell, I got caught out. Right now, Konami's running their usual New Year event, which is, you have 26 life points. Unfortunately, as usual, that event sucks because if your opponent goes first, they're just playing an Oops All Burn deck. And sorry, I've lamented this before. I won't go into it at too length, but I fucking hate that for trial duels, Konami does not edit the ban list, so everybody just does the same exploit hack shit that they always do. Like,
Another win for D2D, because for some fucking reason the deck has anti-burn synergy in it.
no, very solid. But like everybody just plays, X3 Firecracker, X3 Poison of the Old Man, Chain, Dark Room of Nightmare, Chain Energy shit, and it's just like, okay, you're good. I, by the way, played Metalmorph because that has a burn dimension to it, but also their signature boy, based on this guy, is also a negate that is also a burn. So it just like you just set up a negate and your opponent can't deal with a guy who's both 3,800 attack and also will dome them for probably a lot of life points.
Yeah.
So this is the art they used of Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon in Master Duel and in more modern prints.
I
Actually,
think
it's
this
the classic
is
one. No, it's a different one. It's from Sacred Cards. So yeah, there's a few different versions they used, but
this is like one of two poster childs of like, this card is neat, but you're never actually summoning this.
yes. So to remind everybody how this works, Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. First of all, it's a Dark Machine level 8 with 2,800 attack and 2,400 defense. This is important for later Red Eyes stat lines and will influence other Metalmorph cards down the line. It can be normal summoned or set, period. Must first be specialed from your deck only by tributing a Red Eyes Black Dragon equipped with Metalmorph. This is one of the original quote-unquote ass traps, the, activate a card from deck. There were very few of these back in the day. The other Metalmorph target we're going to talk about in a second being one of them. I just brought up Black Metal because it was also included in that promo pack with the original Metalmorph.
So you can summon this from your deck.
Yes, which is crazy. You can only summon it from your deck, though. It cannot be from hand or graveyard. So in your hand,
and
brick.
There's another problem with it. The biggest problem, the funniest problem. This card is just strictly worse than a Red Eyes with Metalmorph equipped.
Yes, because it only keeps the. Actually, no, it doesn't even. The attack gain on this card is bigger. It's 400, not 300.
Yeah, but like you can't do any attack modulation, and also it's just a vanilla technically.
Yes, it does not keep the gain attack when attacking effect, nor did either of these cards attempt to replicate the effect in the anime and manga of machines being immune to spell cards. Let's see, when was Black Metal first printed? 2002, that's pretty early, but it was like a weird promo card that's like you can only
Yeah.
summon it from the deck if you have a trap set up. Like they probably could have just made it this card can't be destroyed by spell cards.
It's not
Even in the
quite.
game.
It's not quite the worst of these cards, because that will still always be Blue Eye Shining Dragon, which you needed to tribute a card that had not been released in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest thing ever.
I mean, I would argue the vanilla version of these boys, because let's go ahead and bring. Oh, it's actually this is the floor. Let me grab the not the card scan. Let me grab the actual card art for Zoa. But that guy's just a vanilla, and unfortunately, specifically he mentions Metalmorph, not Max Metalmorph.
Rare
Um,
Metalmorph.
No, Max Metamorph's the new one. Rare Metamorph is the first retrain they did. It's actually quite a bit older. But Zoa's flavor text mentioned Metamorph. I don't know if they've ever tested it, but I wonder if that works for cards that mention cards. Unfortunately, you can't. If you could probably turn this into a Primite engine, which would actually be a decent engine, but because this guy's a vanilla, and so is regular Red Eyes. But I don't think anybody's ever bothered to try that particular brew. Actually, no, that's not true. I think in the latest... MasterChef's back, by the way.
I like the format better.
The format's a little cleaner. I feel slightly apprehensive because it is a populist vote, which means that the people who follow MBT's channel will just pick whatever's the funniest one. Probably
Yes.
never to annoy Farfa some more. I wasn't super enthused by Doug's deck in the first episode. I think they just voted him to win because they were.
Despise MasterChef. I'm not gonna lie.
I
think
found the original quite
I liked his
funny,
brew the most,
but
I can't remember why.
I found the original quite funny, but part of that was because I quickly cottoned on to kind of their own
That
tropes,
it's fake.
and they did. I mean, yes, it's fake, but yeah, I don't think that. I personally never took the point thing as that serious. I think honestly.
Well,
Dave
I
took
just
it too
like
serious.
here's the problem, and here's my problem with the series. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I just really like the actual idea. So the fact that it doesn't get taken very seriously is disappointing.
You might actually like the second one because like they do score the points still, but there's no longer the judge segment at the end where the judge gets to do something funny. It's all just the next episode they announced who won the straw poll, because they do a straw poll now to see who's like what the people think the deck was best. The final arbiter is the audience. That comes with its own issues, like I said. The episode that just launched, I even posted this comment. I was like, MBT made Red Eyes. I have to stand in solidarity. I don't necessarily think his deck was quite the coolest. And they're still not out of their habits of like. The last episode they did was super exemplified of the way those guys worked, which is Farfa made something a big flashy combo that's not built around any particular deck, but he made a Lightsworn Tier Limit engine to facilitate it. Gage played, I don't even remember now, but he played some dumb engine that he played 5 years ago. Doug managed to make his entire play, as much as I thought Lord of the Red was funny, he made his entire play work around a series of bad puns about playing Sioux ships as an engine. And MBT, like I said, he technically played a Primate variant. It was Red Eyes, though, with Primate stuff as the like intermediate engine between like Metalmorph Red Eyes and then Primate Red Eyes, which was like, that's neat. I have to vote in solidarity. But it's a weird show. I like I said, if you're more into it being more like open, I think so far the second season has been a little more like relaxed. Like they still don't take it like deadly serious, but now that like no matter what, it is objectively who wins the straw poll is the one that wins, kind of a thing. There's, I feel like, more cushion to it.
Yeah.
I like I said, I still think they have problems where like it's so funny, but genuinely the wonky quartet are not as creative as they think they are, and I think even at least Doug understands that he's not that creative. I kind of feel like at times like not to hammer too hard on Gage. There were times when Gage would like yammer with his chat and he'd suggest an engine and it was like the most obvious thing in the universe. MBT literally did pull some old TMT lists. Admittedly, when you've got certain prompts, I'm like, well, you've already built this deck, so I wouldn't deny it. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Actually, I don't think with the first season they did Metalmorph, where the cards were fully out, so maybe they didn't think of it. This is the original Zoa, whose full name in Japanese was Devil Zoa, a level 7 Dark Fiend normal monster with 2600 attack. It says a monster whose full potential can be achieved when outfitted with Metalmorph.
Yep, it was pretty much made for the Metalmorph.
And the return version. Sorry, you're not in Master Duel. You are. This. God, I mean the original art is very classically Yu-Gi-Oh. He's a weird guy who's got big chunks of his skin missing for some reason. And he's got a very pointy chin. I mean, he's called Debiruzoa, so, like, yeah, sure, he looks like a rando from Devilman. Metal Zoa, whose full name in the OCG is Metal Devil Zoa, is, like, fucking incomprehensible to me. We really needed to take a second pass at that shading. I have a very hard time telling where his face ends and his shoulder begins.
Yeah, this is...
He doesn't have eyeballs in either.
This is like the art. This is the type of art that makes me like, whenever anyone's like really nostalgic for old Yu-Gi-Oh art, I'm like, man, it wasn't all good. It was definitely not all good.
Clearly very, very,
very bad.
Oh, and to be fair, like I don't even think Kazuki Takahashi really cared how cool this guy looked. Like it was one card in a sequence of several cards, some of which are very cool machines that we're supposed to line up, and then this guy gets beat up so that Metalmorph's in the graveyard, and then, you know, Bandit Keith busts out the Barrel Dragon. Metal Zoa is a level 8 Dark Machine with 3,000 attack and 2,300 defense. Once again, by the way, that's a difference of 400, which is bigger than 300, but you don't get the attack modulation effect. Can't be a normal summoner set, must be special summoned from your deck by tributing Zoa equipped with Metalmorph. And Metal Zoa was in the Falsebound Kingdom promo pack. Also, guess what? Unlike Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon, which has been reprinted a couple of times just to, like, get it out there because it's cool, Metal Zoa has been printed, like, 4 times. I think it's, like, 3 tops. Same with the classic original Vanilla Zoa.
Yep.
So if you wanted to run a Primite Metalmorph deck with Vanilla Devil Zoa, it would be tough. Because he's very rare. But those were the original...
This is also an awful card. Like, similar to Red Eye's Metal.
They're both super bad.
I need to get going,
Again,
you guys.
Okay, talk to you later. Hopefully Loth returns in a second. But, it's one of those things where, like, the concept is cool, like, oh, special summon from deck by tributing a guy. That's really neat. Once again, Konami, why just from deck? You realize that means you can't summon it from anywhere else, right? What do I do if it's in my hand? And they're just like, I don't know, just don't draw it. And it's like, that's stupid. You're stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, like, I've said it before, old card design for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is rough.
Yes. And like, the problem with a lot of it is, and obviously even, like, some of it is they have to figure out how, like, because they're like, well, it's not a fusion monster, so how the hell do we, like, communicate this effect it had in the anime and manga? You know, how do we interpret that? Well, I guess you summon it out of your deck. It kind of comes from nowhere. Because he didn't have it in his hand, right? It wasn't a bonus card, but it's like, nobody was there to ask him the question of, like, okay, genius, well, what do we do if the players have it in their hand? If it's in their deck, that means they can draw it, and they're just like, I don't know. And obviously, hey, spoilers, I think the current Metalmorph cards also, our new archetype stuff, only summons from deck. However, the cards that you summon with them are designed this way. So they actually do something. They put themselves back. As mentioned before, though, There are a couple of cards that are technically in this archetype because they have the Mataruka name. That is Lunatite and Solitite. Lunatite is an old-ass card from the original run of Union Monsters in, like, 2003.
Well, we
Metalizing
should talk about the
Parasite.
card that came out first.
Which one
There's,
came out first, bud?
Rare Metalmorph predates the Unions, I believe.
I don't think so. I'll check.
So
It
Rare
predates one
Metalmorph
of
is
them.
pre-GX. It's pre-GX, I know that. Because I know what pack it's from. I don't know why I know what pack it's from, but it's from Soul of the Duelist. I believe, or the
Rise of
creator
Destiny,
one, which is the
2004,
next card.
so
Okay, so then this one
Lunatite
after
came
Soul
first.
of the Duelist.
Lunatite came first, but
Maybe I've just never seen these cards.
True, yes. Lunatite was Dark Crisis. It's bad. I mean, it's very bad. Spoilers. Metalizing Parasite Lunatite is a level 7 Union monster. So just awful. Solitite is actually from later. It's from Abyss Rising in 2012, but since neither of these cards actually matter for this fucking archetype,
Oh, I
I'm just
know
gonna
this
look at them
card.
both at once and just be like, doesn't do anything. The art design is cool. I guess I can kind of get that they're like related to the
I mean, it looks
Mataruka,
like it
the
should have
Metalizing.
something to do with the Metalmorph.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Oh, Lunatite got a top?
I am at. What does this do? Once per turn, if you control a monster.
Yeah, so
on the field,
Metalizing
you
Parasite Lunatite's a level 7 Aqua Union, has 1,000 attack and 500 defense. Why is it level 7? We don't know. Once per turn, during your main phase, if you control this monster on the field, you can equip it to a monster as an equip spell or unequip the Union and special summon it. Equipped is unaffected by the effect of spell cards affected by your opponent. So this actually does the thing that Metalmorph is supposed to do. The problem, of course, is that it's a 2003 card. That is a level 7 Aqua Union. Now, I'm pretty sure there are probably ways these days to cheat it out, but it's not very helpful back
So
then.
you say he has a tournament top? Where?
Well, yeah, chat just said that it got a top, and I was like, Mermail, okay. Oh,
That makes
Mermail,
sense. Oh,
cheat
right,
out,
it's an
equip it to
Aqua
the barrier
7.
statue. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. God, I hate Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. Mike. It's like, I feel like whenever I feel like there's a janky combo in Magic, I get excited, and whenever there's a janky combo in Yu-Gi-Oh! It somehow always comes back to, how do I enable this floodgate?
Yeah. How do I protect a guy that shouldn't be protected?
Yeah.
Solitite's basically the same like stat line. Its effect is that it can't be destroyed by your opponent's monster effects. The chat brought this up, but basically the two parasites are what one single max Metalmorph trap now does, and you don't need to play 2 level 7 Aqua Unions to make it work. Obviously, the parasites have the effect that they work for anything because the new max Metalmorph trap is like laser focused, but it is still a little different. So Rare Metalmorph is a weird card. It's very funny when cards get retrained very early, but I do want to say that I feel like this was clearly aiming to be a retrain.
Yeah.
A second pass at the effect. We're doing a dynamic pose, much like the alt art of regular Metalmorph, which is our thumbnail. Rare Metalmorph looks a lot more like those parasites. It is just Rare Metuka, Rare Metalization Magic Effect Armor. This is a continuous trap that says activate this card by targeting one machine monster on the field. While this card is face up, that machine gains 500. Negate the first spell effect that targets that monster. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. Trying
This
to get
card was
closer to the
actually
anime
played,
effect. Yes,
I think
would
the card
actually
was
be good in
played
machine
a
decks.
little.
Well, also, because guess what comes out in like 3 sets? Mr. Big Cyber Rugen himself. So.
Well, yeah, I know. And I think even it was even used that way in the anime.
I feel like
Okay,
this card is
it's
like
not activated,
decent.
but it is seen in Zane's deck in his in his dragon.
Probably when he activated that one card that like mills you for 20 to prevent battle damage. I can't remember what that's called. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. No, he had a few tricks like that.
No, this card is actually decent. Like, obviously it's a trap card, so it's like awful.
But it is a continuous trap, and it's one of those weird cases where, like, technically this does more for the deck that actually played Metalmorph back in the day than regular Metalmorph. Rare Metalmorph actually supports machine monsters. It's plus 500 attack, and it does protect you from one single spell effect. Yeah. So it is the retrain where it's like, obviously, this is what the original Metalmorph should have done. But the thing is that Rare Metalmorph doesn't work the way regular Metalmorph did because it only targets machines, which is counter to the purpose of the original Metalmorph. The original Metalmorph is a card that makes other cards machines. And I think, honestly, if the original classic normal trap Metalmorph said, also, by the way, that monster is treated as a machine, would have done a lot more for the game.
Yeah. Like
the ability to turn your non-machines into machines for specific card combos. The ability to target your opponent's monsters and turn them into machines for Chimera Megafleet. Or Chimera Tech. Megafleet's the EMZ one. But, would have done some stuff, but they didn't. They were very reserved with the way the original classic Metalmorph worked. And so, going out there. So, there are, with that, basically no other Metalmorph archetype cards for a little bit.
For a while.
There were some in the anime. There is a card called Metal Plus.
Oh, please, can we talk about my favorite monster that we never got that makes me so sad?
Oh, you mean Heavy Metal King?
Yes. I'm so sad there's no Heavy Metal King.
Honestly, I would really love for them to do a Heavy Metal King, because that is one of the problems I think this deck has, is that, like I said, most often it gets crammed into a Dragon Link engine because summoning Full Metal Dragon, basically it turns any high-level Dragon Link monster into a negate. Your other archetypes, your other types you're limited to are Fiend, high level, level 5 or higher, which is why you play Fiendsmith. You can turn them into Metalzilla X. Spoilers. And then we did Flame Swordsman as Metal Flame Swordsman with Warriors. I think it would be really great for them to do that with Musician King, who is a spellcaster, yes.
Yep.
But Heavy Metal King is an anime-only card as well. Metal Plus, by the way, is just a continuous card.
Without looking up, can you name the person who used this card?
Was it Johnny Steps?
I believe it was Johnny Steps. Yes, it was Johnny Steps.
Yes. So I'm like, was it Johnny Steps? What a great guy, Johnny Steps.
Such a dumb episode of see, that's the kind of dumb I enjoyed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I don't want to give the impression that I hate the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. I'm just not a huge fan of Duelist Kingdom. I enjoyed Battle City and the filler immensely.
But yes, so basically, we don't know anything other than the fact that it is just in the anime. It is just when we equip Musician King with Metalmorph, it becomes Heavy Metal King. So it just has the Metalmorph stuff and the stat line.
Yeah, you can just make up whatever you want.
But yeah, I mean, it's got a stat line I'd like to see, and like I said, it's just,
you can even make it a normal monster because it is a fusion.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing. You can just make Heavy Metal King, a regular effect monster, because that's what they did with Metal Flame, because the way the new Metalmorph stuff works is just you summon it. Metal Plus, like I said, is a card that, just let them do Metalmorph again. It was used in GX to make Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. But Darkness Metal Dragon deliberately, basically, the way the original way that DMD worked was that it was Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon, but it required Darkness Dragon and Metal Plus. And they didn't do that. arguably for the better for it, because the original DMD sucked. It was just, it gained 400 attack for each dragon like regular Darkness, and then also, if it was targeted by a spell card, you negate and destroy a spell card that targets it. Also, any spell card, you can negate the activation and destroy it by discarding a card. Which, like, does, I think, indicate kind of like where they went with Full Metal later. They kind of scavenged some of that stuff up. But would not have been as cool as the actual DMD, which was a fucking iconic card for Dragon decks for so many years.
Arguably would have been healthier for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, but...
Yeah, I mean, some of that also is just that, like, the OCG, like, they had DMD at 3 for much longer because they... I don't remember if it was a functional errata or just their version of the text was always clear that both effects were supposed to be hopped. And it just took forever for the
I feel like
TCG to reprint
Konami
it.
took way longer than than other card games to realize they needed to put once per turn on shit.
Yeah. No, and like, yeah, so, like, DMD is fine now because, like I said, in the TCG especially, they realized that, like, we need to clearly make it as once per turn. I also am deeply annoyed by this because lots of Red Eye's support is hamstrung by the fact that they didn't want to facilitate a system whereby you could easily, you know, get out DMD. So they're usually
We've talked about
level
Red
8
Eye's
or lower. Level 7
We've talked
or
about Red Eye's unfortunateness before, but it is kind of amazing that 2 different Red Eye support cards are routinely in trouble for things that have nothing to do with Red Eyes.
Yeah.
Like, DMD, obviously, was the first and probably the biggest and longest one, but also Metal Flare Dragon has been, like, not okay a couple of times. For nothing to do with Red Eyes.
Just generic rank 7 shit. Red Eye's fusion was like the OCG was so adamant to get rid of Dark Dragoon that they both they tried to do it by both limiting Dragoon and limiting REF.
Is it cruel that I consider Dragoon more of a Dark Magician card than a Red Eyes card? That
Honestly,
feels cruel of me.
No, I don't think so. It's one of those weird cases
You're giving a dude with a staff.
I mean,
a sword staff, but
it is the game design, or the art design, I should say, the character design for Dark Dragoon is Dark Magician wearing Red Eye's armor.
Yeah.
But Dark Magician is the one material that is required. So basically, no matter what you're doing, you're playing like a vanilla type brick. If you're playing him in Red Eyes, you have to include a vanilla Dark Magician, which is weird. Or if you're playing him in Dark Magician, you have to include either a Red Eyes Black Dragon as a single Garnet, or any high-level effect dragon, which, guess what? Dark Magician decks did get. They got one of those of their own accord. Amulet Dragon just became a target. So it's one of those weird cases where, clearly, I think that, the game design for Dark Dragoon ended up much more favoring the Dark Magician playstyle than the Red Eyes one. Not that we don't all understand that when Dark Dragoon was a problem, he was a problem because
it was a problem
any
for
two
neither
monsters
of
makes
those decks.
Verte, and so you just garnered you played both vanillas.
Well, it wasn't even just Verte. It's pretty for the time. Obviously now it's a different story in my opinion, but for the time, just Red Eyes Fusion being that in any deck.
Oh yeah, no. The
good.
fact that you could, so long as you didn't, if you just drew the REF and you knew that you weren't going anywhere, you could just shotgun it. So long as you hadn't summoned a monster, you can just shotgun REF and make Dragoon. And of course, Verte is the most annoying because it means that you can use REF without actually having its restriction.
Verte is down for other reasons.
Verte has a lot of problems because he's just any.
As a Predator Plant player, he is just not okay.
Well, yeah, I think that's the problem, right? Is that Verte is one of those Link 2s that's made super well and is super annoying. So he was always going to be a problem that literally any 2 effect monsters can turn any fusion spell into an ass trap, basically. Oh, yes, I can activate Shadow Fusion from my deck if I feel like it. I can activate, Red Eyes Fusion, anything, actually. Any fusion at all.
The problem is, because this was the penultimate antagonist of an Anime's card, they gave him a bunch of broken shit. Once again, this guy had a field spell, one-sided Imperial Order IO skill drain. That's nuts. This is a problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes with anime stuff.
So this is a card that I'm sure we've talked about before, but I will bring it up again because they did kind of try and rework Metalmorph back into Red Eyes. And arguably took notes from what would become Dragon Nails, because that was a card that was anime only for literally like 20 years. But Black Metal Dragon does look a lot like Red Eyes Black Dragon if he ate a Metalmorph. And certainly I think takes elements of it, but in the best way. Like, there's nothing to be said that, like, again, out of like the good Red Eyes cards, this was Clash Your Balance, this is 2015. This was a good one. If you don't know, Black Metal Dragon is a Dark Dragon level 1, 600/600. You can target a Red Eyes monster you control, equip it from your hand or field to that target. By the way, note that this is not a Union monster. Despite the fact that it has a Union monster effect, they gave up on that. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand. Note that that effect is not once per turn, and honestly doesn't have to be. You can obviously use DMD to cycle it. The common way you do that now is normal summon Black Metal, link it into Striker Dragon, search DMD, banish Striker Dragon with DMD, summon back the Black Metal Dragon. You can link both off for like seals or something, and then get another search. Depending on what you're doing in the Metalmorph deck specifically, you can also just search Red Eyes Black, Dragon with Claws, or Full Metal Dragon for some reason. Like, you don't have to do the DMD line, but this is a card that shows up in every Red Eyes deck because they made this one correctly the first time.
Yep.
And it's not... Again, if DMD is correctly once per turn, this is not a problem.
No. Well, I don't think this was a problem on release, because, like, once again, I really hate doing this to you, especially so close to your birthday. Red Eyes itself has never been a problematic deck.
No, I know this. I've tried for literal years to make Red Eyes work. The
Omega,
Metalmorph version is probably the closest.
You can be proud. At one point, Red Eyes was a tier 1 meta deck in Duel Links.
In Duel Links, yes. I recall this. I'm glad for it. I'm glad it has gotten the time to shine. And I think the Red Eyes stuff in Rush Duels is also, like, playable. I don't know if it's meta, but it's more consistent than Red Eyes has been in the TCG OCG. It fills me with righteous indignation that I do get to level against Dark Magician and Blue Eyes players, especially Blue Eyes players who are, much like Kaiba himself, the fat cats of the Yu-Gi-Oh world who oppress the working class, the proletariat.
Do you know what they just announced for Duel Links? This is very prescient. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon will be in Duel Links soon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, maybe Red Eyes rises again. It's so funny.
Okay, sorry. I just saw what the tier 1 decks are in Duel Links.
No, I know a little because MBT just posted, I think, a video about the brand new ban list / skill adjustment Duel Links did, which was just like, yeah, they've had like several FTK formats they're trying to trim, and it's very funny what is actually playable.
Tier 3 decks are Sword Soul, Exo Sister, Dino, Predaplant, Bee Trooper, all kind of normal. Tier 2 decks, Chimera, so like all the illusion stuff. Pretty understandable. Okay, tier 1 decks. 1 is Blue Eyes, White Dragon, of course. I did. The one that made me giggle. I'd laugh. The other tier 1 deck, Shinobird.
You can't keep a good bird down.
Not just Shinobird, but also Shinobird piloted by what the fuck's his name? Kaiba's virtual brother.
Oh, Noah Kaiba?
Yes,
Kaiba's
using
name.
the Shinato's judgment
Because
skill.
yeah, that's right. Technically, he ran a ritual deck. Oh my god.
It's
Duel
so
Links
dumb.
is fun. I would get
Duel
into
Links
it
is
if
a
I didn't-
very silly game.
I would get into Duel Links if I didn't hear that it, unfortunately, depending on what deck you want to get into, it can be like a lot of that era of gacha game, be a little money hungry.
So Duel Links, Konami, don't smite me down for this. Duel Links is a very easy to play and easy to get into game if you go in with the mindset that for every deck you want to try out, you essentially have to make a new account. And then it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah. No, and I will say this: as much as people do complain about some of Master Duel's like current trend with monetization, with like what they've been doing with like limited time bundles that don't even get you that much stuff, like multiple back to back.
Yeah.
Master Duel is still super free to play friendly. I have not spent a single cent in like 3 years, despite the fact that again, if you look at any of my like recap stats, every year I put like a fucking 800 or 900 hours into that goddamn game, mostly because it takes so long to play. But it's very free to play friendly. Like if you're not filming a YouTube series where you need to open literally 100 master packs every single fucking week, you don't need to spend a single cent.
I would also say, like, other than like, yeah, Master Duel is up there. Other than games like where the monetization is actively bad for you, like if you've ever heard of Grand Blue Fantasy, I call that game extremely free to play friendly. Like on one hand, yes, they do give you a lot of free stuff, but the other reason it's free to play friendly is because of how fucking awful the money for stuff you get in it is.
Yeah, coming to Steam.
Like it's like $30 for a 10 pull.
It's a little rough.
Oh, it's very bad.
But
Or sorry,
it's-
$20.
But still, yeah. So like, Master Duel is very friendly. Like I said, I have a complete core. Like I have like 3x of all the cards, even the cards you don't play at 3x of the Metalmorph.
The problem of Master Duel has nothing to do with the monetization model, in my opinion, and everything to do with.
Master Duel's problems have everything to do with the fact that it is a best of one format that.
And it is run by Konami.
Yes, sometimes it feels like the slowest ban list trend in the world.
Well, not just that, just the way they handle events, the way they do a bunch of stuff.
The only format is best of one, no matter what. Some months you get it feels like you get no event at all. Other times there'll be like 3. I think they're planning like 3 trial duels, like back to back to back. And obviously, like they do fun stuff. The current thing they're doing is this Triple Tactics Talents giveaway, which is basically every day for 3 days you guess 3 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. If you don't have anything to actually guess, you can randomize. It picks the whole card pool. And if you get matches, it's like a lotto ticket, basically. If you get matches, you can get a shitload of gems. If you do get an exact match, you can be like you split like 7 million gems with everybody else who gets first prize. But you also get smaller prizes if you even just match like, type, attribute, attack, etc.
I assume it's not like one pool.
No,
it's
they've done.
Per person.
They've done at least, I don't know what the full prize pool. I don't know if anybody claimed the full prize with the first run, but they've done one run of 3 days, and now we're in the middle of a second run of 3 days. So like,
no, I mean like everyone has different cards to guess.
No, actually, I do believe at the end of the 3 days they show what Konami's 3 picks were. You don't get to know them until you voted in all 3 days.
Oh, okay.
They show them, and maybe they randomly generate them at the end of 3 days, like just using their own randomizer algorithm. We don't know, but you go for 3 days and you pick 9 cards total, 3 a day. And like I said, if there's, depending on how close your matches are, you get some gems, and it's very very funny thing to get into randomly. Because Yu-Gi-Oh has a shitload of cards, but like, so Master Duel does fun stuff, but it's just one of those things that's like it's very grindy, not anything to do with gems necessarily, just with the way you play it. And
when I say my disappointment with events, I mean that they're very uninspired events. Like
Yeah, I feel like
the thing, they don't lean into being a virtual card game, which is something I actually appreciate for Arena when I do play it. Which is they do shit like Momir Vig events, which is every turn you have a deck of only lands. Every turn you spend an amount of mana and generate a random magic card that costs that much mana.
honestly, they could do that. I guess the question is, like, I feel like the way Konami does things is they're careful about doing things that would require them to spend resources on something they're only going to do once. And I kind of feel like their experience with Master Duel has made them a little gun shy. Like, they had huge upswing, like when the game like accidentally stealth launched. And,
Or,
like,
my opinion. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
My honest opinion is something that they could do is, because this has not worked in paper. It is absolutely not a thing in paper. Put Deckmaster format in the game.
Oh no, I
And
think
curate
that would
it
be
on
great.
online.
Well,
like-
that's first of all thing is events do occasionally have something resembling an alternate format. They really should put like permanent alt format modes in the game, whether it's Deckmaster, whether it's put a Genesis
format.
point list in there. Yeah, permanently do an NR ladder. Like people liked the concept of NR so much that they played it. I think that was one of those ones where its popularity bit Konami in the ass. They realized that people really like that format, but that literally the way that's designed disincentivizes them to spend money. Like there's no monetary gain for them, and they were just like, oh, we can't do that again. We have to figure out some other way. But they don't even properly try and nickel and dime you. This is something I talked about a lot, which is that like usually they give you loaner decks to try out the new hip deck that's full of ultra rares, and it's like that's stupid though, because then you get to play that deck over and over again for the format. Everybody hates its guts. Nobody wants to go back to playing Shining Sark with the brand new ultra rare Dark Magician Girl retrain in it after the event is over.
I'll say this: Konami has the same problem I view Nintendo having, in that their bad decisions aren't always, or even usually, motivated by greed. They're motivated by something else. It's not like American companies where all of their, or not even just American companies, but because I would include Capcom in this, where all their horrible decisions are motivated by greed. Sometimes they're just motivated by things I can't understand.
Yeah.
Like I know why EA is shitty. It's because of the money. It's always about the money. With Konami, I genuinely think sometimes it has nothing to do with money.
No, I do agree. Like sometimes I think they are just trying to like raise.
It's just dumb
capital,
pride
but
sometimes.
then they just like it's weird.
Sometimes I genuinely think it's stubbornness and pride. Or I guess that's more Nintendo than Konami.
I mean, I would still say that about Master Duel. Because I feel like, especially for EN Konami, like they when they talk about the YouTube clickbait, when they talk about the YouTube clickbait combo dimension, you know that the guy who wrote that is watching YouTube clickbait combos. Like he knows what he's talking about, or she. We don't actually, I think, know who writes those Genesis like ad copy, but like that's a person who's in the trenches, right? They work at the office and they watch what people post about Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. I would not be shocked if sometimes things in Master Duel are not a direct response to people yelling about shit on Twitter, and sometimes that response is, fuck you, Twitter, we know better than you, we're Konami, we make this video game. And it's like, do you know better than me? I don't know about that.
And honestly, that is my least favorite attitude, because there's nothing you can do about it.
Also, the problem also is, Dallas, sometimes they're right. Like, there have been things that have stayed legal in Master Duel for forever that aren't problems depending on the context. I'm trying to remember, who is it? Is it Verte? Is Verte still legal at 1 in Master Duel? Like, they just actually banned. They never put Dragoon in the game for like 2 years. So guess what? They didn't have to ban what was it, Fusion Destiny and DPE. They just banned the one good Fusion Destiny target, or limited him because he was low rarity. So they didn't have to give you free gems back. And then DPE decks died, like, for the most part. I mean, it's still annoying that hypothetically you can run into a guy trying to one-trick it, and it's just like, God, this guy sucks and he's so annoying to deal with. But, like, they've made decisions sometimes that are like, oh, wow, they've shown that actually the ban list format could be good. Did they finally get around to it? If they did, they took literally years.
It wasn't because of Dragoon. It was because of something else.
Well, in the OCG,
it might have been because of Branded.
In like I said, in Master Duel, I think he might be the one. I know that Sprite Elf is still legal at 1 in Master Duel to this day, and they just hit other Sprite cards and it didn't matter. Like, it's so weird.
Oh, no, it's at 1. It's at 1.
Yeah. Like, there's some weird shit in Master Duel that, like, does just work. Like, I don't know how they figured that out, but sometimes they do have the correct decision.
Well, I think it's because it's best of 1. Like, I kind of agree that Anaconda's fine in best of 1 because...
Well, it's because you can't abuse the other stuff that Verte does to, like, side deck for it, you know? Like, you can't side deck in your super poly targets or whatever if you're not already playing.
Yeah. See, that's why I just play a deck with super poly in main deck. It'd be like,
I mean, that is what I do, is that, like, if I'm playing a deck that's Super Poly compatible, Garua goes in there, maybe Mud Dragon. I have a Royal Rare.
I hope Super Poly never gets banned because it is genuinely probably my favorite card in Yu-Gi-Oh! I love it so much, Omega. It's such a dumb card that leads. Like, I was talking about, you were in the bathroom.
But yeah, go for it.
You were in the bathroom. It provides that, because I was talking about lamenting how combat tricks aren't really a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! I was saying the reason I love combat tricks is it gives you the fucking Uno reverse card moment. The, like, you thought you were fine, but actually you are dead. And that's the same thing that Super Poly gives you.
And I think that's the old school, like, that's the hit off of, like, Honest, or the reason why Simo using Blackwing Kalute was, like, such a meme, was because that is the ultimate gotcha of just, like, oh, you're attacking me? Okay, damage step.
Yeah.
Kalute, by the way.
Like,
or just, like, Gage thinks he's safe, and then Simo goes, yes, interesting. Kalute. Second Kalute! Not once returned! Die! You're dead! Like, it has that, like you said, that ultimate Uno reverse gotcha moment, which is so cool.
No, like, so sorry to tangent, but this just is in my brain right now.
And it's just you and me, so we can run through it. I'll pull up the...
So in Magic, there's a card called Mr. Foxglove. So whenever Mr. Foxgloves attack, deal damage equal to... draw cards equal to the number of cards in defending player's hand, minus the number of cards in your hand. If you didn't draw, put something from your hand into play. So the way I built this guy, which is not how most people have built him as a commander, is the deck is 99 non-creature spells and him. And I go to combat, I swing with him, his effect triggers, I dump my hand full of combat tricks onto the board, I will always have 0 cards and then draw up to my opponent's hand. And my Fox becomes a fucking nuclear missile.
No, yeah, that does seem fun.
I love it. It's hilarious.
Not exactly
it's so
hilarious in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not even, like, the new take of, like, OTK combat trick decks did that, because that's not how Tenpai does that. Tenpai is like, you attack with 1, 2, 3 small guys, and then you go, okay, I will now set up the combo where I'm going to make this into one huge guy.
Yeah, and, like, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs more, and this isn't even necessarily for, like, balancing reasons. I think it's for health of format in the sense of it makes people have the emotional feel that they should have from playing a card game. They need more cards that feel like you have swung the game in your favor. Because realistically, in a lot of modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's your opponent builds a board, and then you either can break it or you can't. And if you can't break it, the game just feels awful.
Yeah. And it's also that weird case where, like, I mean, I bet that they will go back up, but, like, sometimes board breakers get hit because it can kind of suck to just your opponent plays one Lightning Storm and then your entire deck is dead.
Yeah.
Too, like, that's also a negative play experience, as the kids call it.
They need to figure out a way to artificially extend the game. I've said this for years. Like,
I think right now Konami is
Games are
legitimately
too short.
concerned with the not just the games are too short, but that going second is historically bad. Like it is, the ratios of how bad it sucks to go second in Yu-Gi-Oh are, I don't know, like at an all-time high. So this is why like we think the OCG is doing things with like Maxi to 1 finally, because finally I think the OCG has realized the lesson that we've known in the TCG all along, which is that Maxi is a tool if you're going second. You know what's it's a worse tool if you're going first. So you get to build your board, and then you say, Maxi, by the way.
Yeah, that's the reason why certain cards I'm fine with that you might not be as fine with, because some hand traps, while they are backbreaking, aren't nearly as bad if you're going first.
Well, and I think that's why like the mulch armies really are a really positive design. My personal problem is that like they're draw hand traps no matter what, so you need to have something you're drawing into, and like we're still not quite at a state where just if I draw 9 billion cards, I'm guaranteed to win. I have played Maxi and Master Duel in decks and drawn 20 fucking cards in my hand and still not been able to have enough stuff to get rid of the enemy board because I'm holding like a fistful of like hard once per turns, you know? It's like, well, guess what? It doesn't work.
No, something I thought about is like Yu-Gi-Oh has lost what I used to consider its core identity. Yu-Gi-Oh was always the like, and this was even portrayed in the anime, so you can't even say it's like, where are you getting this from? It's like, they're telling me this. Yu-Gi-Oh was always like, draw your last card, can I draw thee out to this? And we're kind of getting to the point where we're drawing once, maybe a game, maybe twice.
Yeah, the at competitive level, the game is a little too fast paced where like it no longer is kind of that cool game state. And I do kind of hope they get a little away from that. There are interesting things happening right now with the game, that there are actually like a few different interesting axes of play. Dallas, have you seen, before you say your insert, have you seen that Eniacraft, the weird flip control deck, is getting tops?
That is hilarious, and I love it. How are they doing this, though? Are they doing it through playing Eniacraft, or are they playing Floodgates?
I think they're playing full Eniacraft. I'd have to actually pull up the list. I don't think there's that many Floodgates, because it's a pendulum deck.
Like, as long as it's through the actual gameplay, because I'm never going to cheer Floodgates. I'm sorry.
Let me check. Let's see. Eniacraft Remote Duel Top 8. Yeah, no, I think this is just... it's pure Eniacraft. Yeah. They're playing, you know... I don't know what Spirit of the Fall Wind is. That might be a weird... I think it's a flip monster, though. They've got 3 Fualos, 3 Nib. Here, I'll copy this to you. This is the one that got a top 8. I'll post it in Fail Portrayal.
Yeah,
but like,
my whole thing is
like 90% Eniacraft.
I feel the problem is the only way you're going to solve it, and maybe I'm overreacting. Call me crazy if you want. I think the only way they're going to solve this particular problem is with a new Master Rule. Because like the problem isn't down to like what archetypes are popular. It's the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh is like this at this point.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, like how...
And I'm not smart enough to figure that out because I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh enough. But like, I feel like there needs to be a Master Rule change that incentivizes long games.
Yeah, I don't know.
In a way that doesn't suck.
I will also say to chat that I'm like, I don't actually know what will... Yeah, because like technically that's what MR4 was supposed to do, but unfortunately it tunneled the slowing down the gameplay a little too far, and it made things more annoying. I won't say I know exactly what that ratio, that method is. I think that could work. I also think that there are kind of things that could get around it. But yeah, a wholly different format, and that seems to be what the English TCG is doing, or just the TCG department in general is doing with Genesis, is trying to like create a whole new format that does things. I am kind of curious, like, obviously, like we've talked about before, that they're like their system of removing the EMZ entirely, which of course means that you have to get rid of all links and all pendulums because of the current rulings, because of the current Master Rule. If you don't have the EMZ, links and pendulums don't work. But like, you know, is there a version of Genesis where they alleviate that? Is there a version, like much like how like I think that like Duel Links, you know, has advanced through the eras to actually figure out the pendulum scales and shit? Is there a version of Genesis where they add back the the pen scales.
Here's the
I let
thing.
you play
Duel Links
pen.
is such a weird animal because I feel like a lot of the time I enjoy Duel Links more than Yu-Gi-Oh! But also, when Duel Links is bad, it's absolutely abysmal.
Yes, when
It's
they fuck up, it can get
bad
very
Duel Links
bad.
formats are worse than any bad Yu-Gi-Oh! Format.
I will say,
Like, they
I
remind me
will.
of, like, awful Magic formats that from, like, years ago that no one likes, like Combo Winter.
Fair enough. I would say it would be remiss of me not to mention, since Axe isn't here, is that something I know he has lamented personally is that, like, especially in the anime and manga, Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels like a game that's played with skills like Duel Links or Speed Duels, and so
Yes.
the core game might be improved if they just gave us skill cards.
They would,
think
but I
that
think the
could be a
competitive players would hate
tacticals-based-
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would depend on the skills, right? Because there are some dog shit ones. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Could survive if they just brought skills from, like, Speed Duels into a core. Like, if that was just another MR change, like you said, of just, like, now you have certain skills when you do certain things. But it would require very careful management from Konami's part. Once again, I
We should
have drank a
probably
large
continue
soda.
on
I
Metalmorph.
must go piss once more. But
God
when we
damn
get
it.
back, we're gonna do all the actual ones. I've had Max Metalmorph
Yeah.
on screen for a while, so
I'm just gonna vamp.
yeah, I'll mute myself
Hi,
up for a second.
everybody. I apologize for derailing a slight bit, but we like talking. Yeah, no. Card design is interesting. I like I don't want to give the impression that I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! I want Yu-Gi-Oh! To be better and succeed, or else I wouldn't care about it. And just point and laugh. Like, Magic went through a really shitty time, and now it's going through a much better time period. And I want that for Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Because having a card game you love die sucks. Anything in the chats? No, yeah, that channel. Some of the skills of Duel Links are hilariously nuts. Like, they'd obviously have to be a little more tame because, like, some of them are literally not physically possible. But I don't know.
Okay, I'm back. And I remember to bring my headset with me this time, so I'm caught up on all that. Yes, I also agree that some Duel Links skills actually use the fact that they're digital to their advantage. That you could not do, you should not have, like, some of those Duel Link skills that, like, just create a card from outside your deck list and put it on the board. That doesn't work in paper because that's one
I
of
think
those
some
things
of
that
them
sounds
are
so
fine.
annoying to be enforceable.
I think some of them are fine. Mostly the ones that involve polymerization. I'm gonna be real.
Honestly, poly is so that would simplify a lot of deck building if you just had a skill where you could just be like, hey, just give me vanilla poly in my hand. Don't make me play polymerization searchers.
Or like, discard a card for poly. I know I think that's a generic skill. Is like, you can. I think it's like discard 2 cards for poly or something like that. Something like that.
I think there are current TCG/OCG decks that would kill for the ability to discard 2 cards and get, like, not even create poly, but search poly from deck. Like, you still have to play it in your deck list. But let's talk about this Metalmorph stuff. This is pretty new. I think this was this 24?
24. I think it's 23. It's
In
24?
the OCG, probably. Let me see when Rage Was Abyss was in
I thought Rage Was Abyss was
Japanese.
23.
No, it was firmly 24.
Okay.
Rage of the Abyss.
Gotcha.
So the card we pulled up is Max Metalmorph. This is their first pack of the in there. Very interesting to see that the way they wrote this in Japanese was, Metaruka Enhanced Reflection Armor. It's just Max Metalmorph in English. This is another normal trap that says, tribute 1 face-up monster, special summon 1 monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, and mentions Max Metalmorph from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to it with the following effect. The equipped monster gains 400, cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. Your opponent cannot target with monster or spell effects. You can
Go
only
ahead.
activate one Max Metalmorph per turn. So
I
this is
have
just
one complaint with
anime
this
Metalmorph.
card.
Yeah, what up?
It should have been called Metalmorph Maximum.
I also
because
probably agree that I would have
something-
preferred it. Not even if it was
something-
not necessarily full Metalmorph Maximum, but just Metalmorph Max rather than Max Metalmorph.
Well, something I like about the Metalmorph archetype, and you'll see it with more other cards, is I feel like this archetype is very silly, and it knows it.
I mean, the Metalzoa
It's a
retrain
very
is called
cheesy
Metalzoa X. Like it is a little
There's
goofy.
another
It's
card
very...
that is very silly.
Oh, are you talking
we'll
about
get
perhaps
to-
Incoming Machine? Exclamation point.
Incoming Machine!
Yeah, no.
Yes, no.
This deck is very.
This is campy and it knows
oozes
it.
that early
Or,
2000s
Red Eyes,
top aura.
Red Eyes Metal Claws Dragon
Yeah, Metal Claws.
is another one.
Or the retrain is Red Eye's Full Metal Dragon. Like they're just like, yeah, sure. That said, for
Once
a
again, that should
actual
have been. Oh, Omega, we did actually forget a card.
which one from earlier?
Darkness Metal, the Dragon of Dark Steel.
Oh, do we have to talk about that guy?
If
I
you
own
wanna,
that guy in
we
paper.
don't
He's so
have to.
disappointing.
We don't have to. It's a bad card.
No, he sucks. I hate him. He's so disappointing. He looks
He's
so
so
cool. He
bad.
doesn't do shit. I think we talked
He's
about
so
it
cool
in the
looking,
episode.
and he's so bad.
It's literally the quote Vegeta has from Abridged Broly. He's so cool, but he's so dumb. Darkness Metal is a huge disappointment. Like, honestly, most of those weird retrain for banned dragons they did are bad. The Pendulum Sed is really good, and the Fusion Trishula actually fucking rules in the right deck.
Yeah, no.
I play that guy in
the-
New Dragon Maids. He's crazy.
Yeah, the Pendulum Sed is a surprisingly good card that people keep forgetting exists. That you can just put in a Pendulum deck like Archfiend Servant.
Which is gonna be a good deck. The new Pendulum Archfiend shit is like that, very functional.
Yeah,
Very
no,
funny
like,
things.
like, what were the other ones? It was is Fusion Trishula, and there was one other one that I can't remember.
There was the rank 7 Dark Armed Dragon, which is like okay, but there are better
Right.
generic. There are better generic rank 7 dragons now, literally.
Well, also, I think it came after Flare Metal, which is just better.
I mean, Flare Metal is passively better, I want to say, but as a generic rank 7, like Dark Armed Dragon is pop.
That's true.
A guy. Destroy a card your opponent controls, banish one card from their graveyard, but it can't attack, so like it's a little overly restrictive. There are literally rank 7s which do a pop one better. And the other was the Synchro Judgment Dragon of Heaven. The Judgment Dragon retrain. It's bad. I think Lightsworn literally has better sync 8s in it.
Yo, DDD got a top! Sorry,
Nice.
I'm just looking at
Nice. No, I mean deserved.
at the 2025 WCQ regional.
But yeah, so this is, as we said, Max Metalmorph. This does a lot
Big bag
more
of
for
death.
an archetype around Metalmorph.
Yes.
It does that thing which, like, I understand why the original Metalmorph trap just says it equips to a guy, because technically that's how it works in the anime and manga, except that it also, like, does other stuff too, because, again, the Duelist Kingdom rules are supposed to be more almost like TTRPG adjacent. But that means that the Metalmorph trap card doesn't do all the stuff that it's shown doing in the show. Max Metalmorph does do that. It's 400 instead of 300. You lose the attack gain on attack effect, but you do get other stuff because you are actually protected against both spell and monster effects. Which, honestly, also pretty good. Very rarely do I still find people playing Trap Trick in Master Duel, because it was a structure deck in Master Duel as well as in paper. So it's relatively budget. You find some diehards there, so like then the protection doesn't do anything. Most decks consist of monster and spell effects, so being protected against them is pretty good. And it was mentioned earlier, yes, it is hand deck or graveyard, so we have truly learned to not give a shit. Generally, you want them in your deck, but that's because all of them have good effects to shuffle themselves back. So this is very strong. Again, the main problem is that because it can special summon from hand, deck, or graveyard, specifically because it can summon from deck, I believe, is the one that Ash can trigger and stop it. Also, it's a special summon, so it's very weak to Dominus Impulse, etc. But it's still a really good step in actually doing something. And, let's see. Do we want to do Metal Illusionist first? Probably. So Metal Illusionist.
I don't know why this
your...
card is a card.
Oh, I know why it's a card. It's because I was going to bring up because in the anime and manga, Joey gets access to Metalmorph via Copycat. So they made a Metalmorph specific Copycat, which is weird but works. I also think they correctly tagged that because you need level 5 or higher monsters for this deck to work, you need some sort of engine or a normal summon. Illusionist is your normal. But it is definitely like Metal Copycat. Which didn't actually happen in the anime, but is still pretty cool. I would say also gives them another incentive to do Heavy Metal King as a spellcaster tribute. If you don't know the original Copycat's artwork, let's do a side-by-side. So you can absolutely tell. But Copycat is a effect monster, Mimic Illusionist, and is his OCG name. He's a light spellcaster level 1 with 0/0. If this card is summoned, target a phase-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack and defense become equal to that monster's original attack and defense. And Metal Illusionist is a light spellcaster level 1 that's 0/0 and is doing the basically exact same pose. I will say, I do think that when we talk about classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Art, original Copycat is one of those that's good because he's like very simple but very evocative. You're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. And then you see Metal Illusionist and you're just like, oh shit. You can see pictured in the mirror original Metalmorph.
Well, see, I thought it was a different card. That's why I didn't make the Copycat connection myself. No, I thought it was supposed to be a different card.
Yeah, if you show them side by side, that's why they're out there, and why it is a monster.
And I was just like, Pegasus didn't ever play Metalmorph.
I will say, I do think that his pointy shoulders make him look a little bit like you said, he looks a little bit like the Pegasus Illusionists. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Dark Illusionist. I'm like, what?
But no, it is Copycat showing him in the reflection against something you can't possibly see in the normal card art. But Metal Illusionist, as I said, is a monster. He is one of your normal summons. First of all, increase this card's level by 4 during your opponent's turn only. So that actually, covers the summoning conditions of your various monsters we're going to talk about. And then you can use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card's normal or special, you can set 1 Metalmorph trap from your deck. If Max Metalmorph is already in your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. Excellent effect. Because the draw is optional, I do not believe Ash can target this. The set effect is not ashable for sure, and that's great. You can just set a Metalmorph trap, get it out of your deck. Also, you can declare 1 other monster type. This card becomes that type until the end of your opponent's turn, so it can become all of your targeted types. Also, this is another thing that lets you do weird stuff because, like you pointed out correctly, that a lot of people play Fiendsmith as the sub-engine in this deck because there are like 8 cards for it tops. This is a light attribute monster that can just make itself a fiend, so it's super easy to turn into Fiendsmith. You don't even need 2 guys, to go into closed heaven.
Ooh.
Fiend is even one of your valid targeted types for one of your monsters, so like it's a very odd case where you're out there. I do appreciate that it says any Metalmorph trap, so if you wanted, you could play vanilla or rare Metalmorph in this deck. You don't, because you don't need that many trap cards. They don't do enough for you, but I appreciate when Legacy support still lets you play the old favorites. Because if there ever was a reason to play them, they are backwards compatible, which is nice.
I mean, I think there might be like an argument you could make about normal Metalmorph. Rare Metalmorph, he's
no,
just
the
straight
Max
up.
Metalmorph, it just like makes it better. you just do that
Because
effect.
does Max Metalmorph get the original Metalmorph effects? I don't remember.
It does
I
not
don't
give you
believe
the
it
attack
does.
modulation, no.
Okay, so there is still a niche
Yeah.
scenario to play normal Metalmorph. Max Metalmorph is just, or rare Metalmorph is just no.
Yeah. So yeah, that is your one normal in this deck. So let's talk about we mentioned it before. Let's bring up one of my favorite boys. We retrained Metal Zoa into, again, one of the edgiest names ever. It's Metal Zoa X. He's doing a fucking X right now. And to go with him, they also retrained that vanilla-ass Zoa. I think he has eyeballs now. And... oh, they're even doing the same pose. That's neat. I didn't think about that before. Unfortunately, I don't summon Metal Zoa X. That's usually a card you get... You play Metal Zoa X when you're in very specific board states. You play Zoa the Fiendish Beast, the retrain, more. Because he is also technically a normal summon, but good card arts. I like that. I think the redraw of regular Zoa, Fiendish Zoa, looks better. First of all, because he has eyeballs.
Yeah.
And also, I think his teeth are, correctly aligned. His chin is still
I
stupid.
really like the way Zoa looks.
No, yeah.
It very much gives old DC or Marvel demons vibes, where they're they just have appendages that make no goddamn sense.
Yeah, no.
Or even
I think he also harkens to
well,
70s
no,
and 80s
it's
anime
not.
in a way.
It's
as
not
well.
nearly horrific enough. Yeah, it's the same thing. That same aesthetic is I don't know why. I think it's probably because I guarantee you comic book writers were weebs or anime makers were comic book nerds. One of the two.
I think both are true.
70s, probably both. 70s anime and 70s comic aesthetics are weirdly similar.
I would absolutely bet
in certain
that
areas.
in the
Especially
there was a lot of
demon and
cultural import.
non-human creature design is the one area you could definitely see it.
There was a lot of cultural import after the war into Japan, which is why a lot of early anime and manga is very much based on American comics and graphics design.
Is just Superman.
Yeah, basically. And then there was that kind of crossover. But then, like we said, once you
that
get into the
lovingly, by the
70s and 80s, you get the reverse also, though, where Western comic artists are also oh shit, Japan's doing some weird stuff over there. Show me that
I'm
shit.
fairly certain Chris Claremont has directly said he was inspired by 70s anime. That would make sense.
A lot of sense.
He also had some weird stuff.
So Zoa the Fiendish Beast or Akumaju Debuzoa.
Last comment, I swear, but if you read early 70s, 80s X-Men, that's the writer's barely disguised fetish, the comic book.
A lot of people, I believe, have said that about Claremont's run. But
Yeah.
I think
He's
most
a
people
genius,
are okay
but
with it
also,
because honestly, the X-Men as horny, most people just kind of accept that one. It's not even explicitly sexual. It's just there sometimes. I do believe that it was I don't know how accurate it is, but it was always a suggestion that it was reported that Claremont couldn't get away with at the time, was that Rogue was supposed to be Mystique and Irene's biological child, by which Mystique...
they were always married. It's just they could literally never say the words they were married until 2019.
They were always together, and Rogue was supposed to be their biological child because, of course, Mystique can change her gender.
Yeah,
It's the kind of thing that comic book
That's
artists
Claremont.
couldn't talk about.
Yeah, and honestly, it'd be better than what Rogue's canon backstory was. Yeah, spoiler, her parents are evil sex traffickers or some bull of crap. Or were. I don't know what Redcon. Look, I'm much more into DC than Marvel, personally, so I'm not hugely knowledgeable. Omega, may I plug another channel?
Sure, go for it.
Watch Nikhil Clayton. He's a giant comic nerd, and he makes my brain itch in good ways.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
So, we were talking about Devil Zoa the Demonic Beast, aka Zoa the Fiendish Beast, a new level 7 Dark Fiend, same stats as the original Zoa. So, if only your opponent, actually no, it's if your opponent controls a monster, period, you can normal summon this card without tributing. This is a great effect.
It's a good card.
It's a great effect because you can still do it if you have put guys on your board, but also just means your opponent put a guy on there. Or alternatively, hey, have you just survived Nibiruing your opponent and giving them a token? You can summon Zoa. Just a great way to handle a level 7 big asshole is just fuck you. If you're going second or can otherwise contrive a way that your opponent has a card, you can just normal summon this guy. Who gives a shit? You can use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can special summon it in defense position. If Max Metalmorph's not in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon one monster from their hand. During your main phase, you can set a Metalmorph trap from your deck. So that special summon effect is a little overly fair, but still, depending on what your opponent's doing, can be worth it to just special summon a guy. Alternatively, you special summon him after you've done the other half of your combo, and you already have a Max Metalmorph in your graveyard. It's a card that is very fair if it's a setup. It's very rarely your first play, unless, again, if you did, the normal summon is... I'll say this again, chat. The normal summon in Metalmorph is so weird. I am playing fucking Guiltia the D-Spear because he can search Red Eye's Metal Claws and also is a great going second normal summon. That's the retrain of Guiltia the Dark Knight that says... if this card is summoned, target one card your opponent... Actually, I think it might even be targeting, but it's banish one card your opponent controls with more attack than him. If you control no monsters, you can normal summon this without tributing, and he also has a discard to search effect. Like, that's how hard up Metalmorph is for a fucking normal summon. That I feel okay playing that because he's a level 5 warrior, so he's like a valid target to turn into Metal Flame, who is a really great card. So, like, Zoa being normal or specialable is also very good. And just that once per turn during your main phase, set a Metalmorph trap. Konami understands how to make trap decks good, chat. They understand it. They figured it out with Labyrinth. The problem is just that
they figured it out again as much as I hate it. Spoiler, I'm not a fan of Odeon.
No, I think the specific way they made man decks work is a little irritating. I know some people have run into that one. That one's much more about making trap monsters work, but it does work. But it is one of those cases where, like, Konami figured it out a while ago. The problem is that if certain trap-based decks are too good, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players whine. And so they are usually very cautious. I think the Metalmorph trap stuff specifically... I know, that's why I Freudian slipped there. But the Metalmorph stuff specifically only works as a tribute engine, so, like, it's not problematic currently.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. Like, honestly, it makes me wonder if, because Metalmorph is technically a normal trap that removes a guy, I don't know if you could... You could probably put a Metalmorph package, a Max Metalmorph package, inside Labyrinth just to get to Metal Zoa X, but I don't know if that's worth it, because Lab is also a deck that kind of does stand on its own. But Zoa the Fiendish Beast is a great starter, and Metal Zoa X is a level 8 Dark Machine with 3k attack and 2300 defense. It has the 400 built in. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned by Max Metalmorph by tributing a level 5 or higher Fiend monster. You can reveal this card in your hand, set a Metalmorph trap from your deck. If you do, shuffle this card into the deck. Excellent, perfect, great.
That seems good.
It's very good, very good. Hey, spoilers. All of the big can't be normal summoned or set guys have an effect like that. Now, this does mean that if you accidentally draw all your traps in deck, if you've garnered it yourself, you can't do that. But just play a few more traps. Play the battle trick of Time Machine. We'll talk about that later. There is a trap, the Time Engine, the Time Machine retrain. But yeah. And additionally, you can also use the following effect once per turn. Or no, you can use the shuffle effect once per turn. Twice per turn when your opponent activates a monster effect, spell card, or effect. Quick effect, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So this is the Ryziel Detonator School of Interaction. Metal Zoa X doesn't actually stop your opponent from doing anything. It's just one of those things where, like, if you create Metal Zoa X, you put him on the board, your opponent goes, okay, normal summon a guy, activate his effect, you go, cool, pop, get that guy out of here. Or just any other effect where, like, your opponent starts activating things, you can just remove monsters from their board. I kind of wish it was pop anything, but it doesn't have to be. This is why I think Zoa X is probably the weakest of the 3 retrains. He's still really good, but he's definitely only the best against some decks, so more often you're going to be grabbing different cards. But I still play at least one, so I've got him. And he is a great searcher. And then, technically, it came a little after, but we probably should show Claw's Dragon, just because he is kind of the counterpart in the deck where you're supposed to go into. The art on Claw's Dragon's not super impressive. It's red eyes with dragon nails. But, you know, he's doing his best. Trying his hardest. Which is okay. The new art for our boy, though, Full Metal, I do like. So there's Red Eye's Full Metal Dragon. Claw's Dragon, I keep wanting to say nails because it's dragon nails, but Claw's Dragon, which was just Metal Claw Dragon in they pluralized in the TCG, but Red Eye's Metal Claws is a level 7 Dark Dragon. It has the Red Eye stat line, and this does 2 very critical things for this deck. It does very important effects that is another thing that, like I said, Konami realized that trap decks need. First line of effect deck, you can activate Metalmorph traps the turn they are set.
Yay.
Which is like, you can still wait until your opponent's draw to pop off, but it's one of those things that, like, if you want your deck to be reactive to your opponent on turn 1, you need to be able to activate at least one Metalmorph. Now, you got to be careful, because no other card has that effect, so guess what? If you get rid of Metal Claws before you do the rest of your setup, you are locked out until the rest of the turn. So it's not like a free thing. You got to be careful. But it does mean that you can get at least one activation, usually of him, per turn. You can then only use the following effects once per turn. Send one face-down card you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special and you have max Metalmorph in your field or graveyard, add a Metalmorph trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So basically, Metal Claws summons himself. If you specifically, because you can set anything, you know. If you specifically set max Metalmorph and send it off Red Eye's Metal Claws, you can immediately add it back, set it again, and you can activate it. But it's just a great way to get a high-level dragon on the board. You can also get it out other ways. For instance, if you do the DMD thing we talked about before, you know, normal summon Black Metal Dragon, search DMD, when you link it off, banish DMD again, and then you could use the DMD activation, you know, the once per turn summon. Instead of on Black Metal Dragon, you can use it to summon claws from your hand. And if you don't have a claws in your hand, you can just summon back Black Metal Dragon, link it off for Hieratic Seals, and search Metal Claws that way. You know, whatever floats your boat. So just a great consistency card, but is absolutely a mid-piece in your combo. I think it's interesting that Metal Claw's Dragon doesn't stand on his own ever, but it is a very important card to this archetype. One of the reasons why it's important is because it turns into Full Metal. Who, by the way, is just called that, just Red Eye's Black Full Metal Dragon in the OCG. Great guy. Love him to death. So Full Metal is a Dark Machine, level 8, 3,400 attack, 2,400 defense. That's a significant increase. If you want to know why that is, chat, it's because in the manga, not only was it metalmorphed, but it was also equipped with dragon nails. Yeah. So, it's very big. This is also before you actually equip max Metalmorph to it, so its stat line can be 38 usually. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned with max Metalmorph by attributing a level 5 or higher dragon. You can reveal this card in your hand, set a Metalmorph trap from your deck. If you do, shuffle it back. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of one attack position monster your opponent controls. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the negation effect is, and the damage dealing effect is very similar to an instance where in the manga, Bandit Keith tries to blow up Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon with Blast Sphere, which would have dealt damage. But also, the negation effects are similar to what the original Red Eye's Darkness Metal did. So I feel like they kind of combined the two into the biggest boys. And yes, so like I said, Full Metal... Decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! No longer live or die by having a single negate, but Full Metal is a great card to add to your end board because it is a negate. It also, if your opponent is not playing safely, will dome them for a lot of damage if they, play into the negate while they've got a big asshole on the board. And is also a big fucking guy. If I had to say, the only thing that is a weakness about him is that Full Metal Dragon has no protection on its own other than its negate. Which means that if your opponent does just Feather Duster you do die. But I think that actually being a problem would require more decks to be playing Feather Duster regularly. And say what you will about Konami getting loosey-goosey with other cards in the ban list, Feather Duster is still limit 1. I think Lightning Storm is limit 2 in a couple of formats. So, Konami does kind of understand that if you're playing that sort of deck that goes first, it is kind of suck if your opponent can always count on just blowing your back row up.
Yeah, and I don't think Feather Duster... I hope we're never in a world that Feather Duster can come to 3.
No, I mean, I genuinely, I think the closest they've come to back row hate being that consistent is Radiant Typhoon searching MST, and even then, you do that also because so many Radiant Typhoon decks are dependent on your opponent having no back row. The deck literally doesn't function if there are spell traps on the board. They are punished if they're not blowing up your back row. So yeah, no shit. Jamming Feather Duster in anything, and technically Feather Duster is searchable in Harpy. The problem is that just the whole Harpy package isn't that good.
And also it doesn't. If you're playing the deck right, you don't really need Feather Duster because you have Hunting Ground.
No, it's true. You would just nickel and dime them. The spell trap that you want to search is Feather Storm, which is probably a card that will. If we ever get back to a bird up type situation, I think Feather Storm will get banned. If there
That's
ever
possible.
is another bird deck, I think because Feather Storm is a card that you can. Talking about how bad going second is, it's a card you can set going second, and then just your opponent can't play the game for a whole turn. And also, God forbid, if Harpies were actually good, this is probably why Konami has not supported Harpies in the past couple of years. If Harpies were good, they would have to ban Feather Storm, because if you control a Harpy, you can activate it from your hand, which means it's a quick play spell, basically. That is, really scary. But Full Metal is a very great card, I want to say. It's the centerpiece of the deck, but not your only piece of interaction, so he's a fun little guy. Interestingly enough, despite the fact that they retrained Zoa, which is good because it was a vanilla that didn't do anything, and we retrained, we added a new Red Eyes to reference the anime and manga. Our next boy, who is technically in the second slot, isn't actually a reference. It's just a guy who was in the duel, and they just decided to bring him in because he's cool and iconic. It's Metal Flame Swordsman. Looking pretty cool. I like him a lot. His attack stat is the way it is because you can see it firmly on his sword, the little swirly. In the duel with Bandit Keith, Joey plays Flame Swordsman and equips him with Salamandra. This doesn't defeat the machines because they're immune to spell effects, but this is why Metal Flame Swordsman has 2500 attack. He's a level 6 fire machine. He's looking pretty sick. Can't be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned with max Metalmorph by attributing a level 5 or higher warrior. You can reveal this card in your hand. Add a card that mentions max Metalmorph from your deck to your hand except Metal Flame. If you do, shuffle it back. So it also shuffles back, but it does different. It doesn't set a trap. It searches any card. It uses this effect once per turn. Each time your opponent activates a card or effect, this card gains 300. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent when that card or effect resolves. That's right, baby. He is a Tax Dragon. That means this deck has 2 Tax Dragons.
I wish Konami would stop printing a card like this.
I mean, honestly, I think the thing is that Metal Flame is usually not too obnoxious because he is a multi-card combo. It is the kind of thing where, like, I have occasionally burned opponents to death. He's not super well protected other than the, just general immunity you get. The problem is, like I said, this deck doesn't actually have any fucking warriors in it. I have to play outside warriors. So you're almost never summoning this with max Metalmorph, which gives it protection. Well, it gives it permanent protection. You cannot target or destroy with monster or spell effect. You're normally summoning it with the other one they added, which is they made a second new Metalmorph. It is interesting to see, we do have a burn card in a deck that can already make the burn cards, but like I said, it's very rarely actually comes to that. Much more impressive is the fact that he gains 300, which means that it's really, really hard to just run this guy over with battle. And that is a thing that, like, my opponent I've played against opponents who literally could have just, like, done one activation, gone to battle, run this guy over at 28, and they're just like, no, I have to keep playing. And it's like, okay, my guy's going to be like 5k. It's all permanent, baby.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think about it necessarily for, like, having... I just feel like the more of these effects you put into the game, the more chance they're going to be to generate in another deck.
It could be. I will say that, like I said, I think the main thing is that, like, the thing is that hypothetically this could have been problematic once upon a time. Like, if they released this when Infernoble was good, it could have been something.
Oh, God.
But you can't really play a deck with high-level warriors that also has, like, a machine and a trap card to get to him, right? It's like, I don't think there's a pure warrior deck that has enough of an engine. I won't say that it couldn't be much like how, like I said, Dragon Link decks are just playing a small Metalmorph package just to get full metal as a free negate. Like, I won't say that Metal Flame couldn't be problematic, but it's just a weird case where the synergies aren't really that tight to make it work. And this is the new Metalmorph, brand new. Like I said, technically, Flame Swordsman was in the anime and manga duel that a lot of this is based on, but he did not interact with Metalmorph directly. So Flame Coating Metalmorph, Metalization Flame Coating, is, effectively brand new. It does kind of look like Rare Metalmorph, but it's like left-right flipped. Flame Coating Metalmorph says, tribute a phase-up monster that mentions max Metalmorph. Special summon a monster that can't be normal summoned or set and mentions max Metalmorph from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can equip this card with the following effect. Equip monster will be destroyed in battle or card effect. You can send this card to the graveyard instead. You can only activate one per turn. So this does not give you the attack modulation effect at all. Though, again, if you actually use it to summon Metal Flame Swordsman, you don't need to worry about that. But it can turn any of your max Metalmorph cards into another Metalmorph card, basically. Like you can use with Zoa, Illusionist, Claws, etc. You can also use this to cycle your big metal boys because they mention max Metalmorph. You could use this to turn Metal Flame Swordsman or Metal Zoa X into full metal and vice versa. It's a very flexible card.
Yeah.
Also gives you battle
I will
protection, which
say,
the deck doesn't have. It's very interesting.
The art is weird because, and I don't know if they were doing this on purpose. It looks like it's combining Flame Swordsman plus the other dude that's Joey's monster that I can never remember the name of.
Oh, what's his face? Axe Raider? Actually, no. This is more like
No,
what's his face?
the 7-star guy.
The big blades. Guilford the
Yeah,
Lightning? I don't think
that's
he's
the
playing
one
that
I'm
level, but
thinking of.
he does have a lot of weird spikes and stuff. I could see it. Metal Flame's pretty big. But yeah, this is an interesting case where they are explicitly borrowing, guys that were involved in the duel, where Metalmorph shows up, but also weren't actually Metalmorphed. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's
Despite the
neat.
fact they have a perfectly good Metalmorphed card that they haven't
Yes.
printed yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say, though, that one comes from later. Like, that duel was later in the timeline, but it is definitely very interesting.
Was it? Oh, I guess, yeah, it's technically
Yeah,
like...
Johnny Steps was the next arc.
No, it's before it. Isn't it?
If it is, it's a
'Cause this is
flashback.
when Bandit Keith steals the puzzle, right?
No. This is Joey versus... all the Metalmorph stuff is from the first Bandit Keith deck. This is Bandit Keith versus Joey.
No, because Zoa's from... I'm pretty sure Zoa's from the...
I think he may reuse Zoa in that second duel, but no. Zoa and Metal Zoa are from that first anime duel.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Like I said, I don't remember Duelist Kingdom very
here
well.
we go. We are
So,
Bandit Keith's duel. Pendulum Machine, Guilty of the Dark Knight. Launcher Spider. Summon Flame Swordsman. Equips Flame Swordsman with Salamandra. Attacks Zoa, which still wouldn't work. Bandit Keith activates Metal Force, turning it into Metal Zoa, which defeats Flame Swordsman.
no, remember warriors get like bonuses against dragons or some shit.
That may have been it. Axe Raider, Garuzis, Sword and Shield, Kunai and Chain. That means there should be a Metalmorph Kunai with Chain, Konami. Barrel
There's
Dragon.
like 50 Kunais with chains.
Barrel Dragons from that episode. Joey plays Time Wizard as a magic card to summons Baby Dragon to get Time Magic to get Thousand Dragon to defeat.
Second retrain for Barrel Dragon?
I mean, listen, like I said, there's a lot of them.
And I guess Launcher Spider in that case.
Yeah, Launcher Spider. Pendulum Machine is another big ass guy.
But also there are multiple Metalmorph duels, so like you could also take from that.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is I'm hoping they get us a second wave of support. I would love to see, like I said, Heavy Metal King. You could also do the Metal Plus stuff, and if you really wanted, you could do a Darkness Metal retrain. You don't have to, but you could make a different version that is does more stuff with that.
Hey, there was a Metalmorph person who used Metalmorph in GX.
Yep.
As well.
Sorry for stepping away. Is this fucking Metalmorph Flame Swordsman?
Yeah, this is Metal Flame
Yes.
Swordsman. He was in that duel.
This guy from GX, don't you remember him? He's so memorable. Hold on.
Hold on, is this going to be the most generic man ever? It is the most generic man ever. Is this one of the guys that Chaz beat the shit out of?
Yes. His name
Yeah,
is
it looks
Czar.
Looks like he's wearing that fucking vest from that academy.
Yeah.
Or Caesar? I don't know.
Oh my god, wait,
This
does that
isn't a
mean
word.
could we get Metalmorph Armed Dragon? Konami, please.
Yeah, it's
Help a brother out.
Caesar.
I love Armed Dragon. Metal Armed Dragon? Come on. Writes itself, Konami.
Yeah. Metamorph Sandar Dragon.
But yeah, the one thing I want to bring up is that in that duel, because we're gonna look at some more spell traps in a second, because I think that's all our bodies. Yeah, it's all the guys. All the buddies, the monsters so far. There are a couple of support spell traps. One of them is Time Engine, because that's Time Machine. But Time Machine, or Time Engine referencing Time Machine, the reason why Red Eye's Metal Dragon gets involved in that is because Joey plays Grave Robber. I keep saying this about Joey support cards. There should be a Grave Robber fusion to fucking invocation your opponent's monsters for Red Eye's fusion targets. Give me Metalmorph Grave Robber. Grave Metalmorph. Metalmorph from Beyond the Grave. Call of the Metalmorph. And just like make
Joey
it
had
so that you
Haunted.
can banish an opponent's monster.
I know Czar did.
But Metal Flame is a very interesting card piece that I think is pretty good. But we mentioned it a long time ago, but we did talk about the name of this card. This is just Incoming Machine! Exclamation point.
Oh my god, is that
Yes.
fucking Axe Raider?
Yes, this is this actually also happened in the anime and manga. After making Metal Zoa, Bandit Keith plays Stop Defense, which puts Joey's face down Axe Raider in attack mode and beats his ass. This is that shot. I think this is literally a manga panel of Axe Raider going to fucking die. Which is, by the way, why this card
Joey
does everything.
For especially for Duelist Kingdom, Joey kind of sucks at dueling and is bailed out entirely by luck.
I mean, and that is always been his superpower. I mean, I think that's why I like him, is that like Joey is the if we consider our three major recurring duelists, you know, that even through filler arcs keep coming back, Joey is the one normal on the team. Kaiba is alternatively has the superpower of unlimited money and also occasionally has his past life memories bullshit. Yugi is literally two guys, one of whom does supposedly
One of
have
whom has
Destiny
just
Draw as a
magic
power.
powers.
Yes, what has access to ancient Egyptian magic. Joey's just a guy.
Also nitroglycerin.
Most of the villains in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are possessed of occult powers. Or are possessed by occult powers. Bandit Keith is literally a card shark. He is a fucking cheater.
Yeah.
It's funny you say.
I feel like Joey gets
Joey
gets a very good arc during Battle City. I just feel like in Duelist Kingdom he was just kind of there.
Oh no! Remember, he was able to get in because it was Yugi who got in because Mai had
Yeah,
10
Yugi got in. I think he
No.
cheated.
So step one, Joey doesn't have any star chips. They're not going to let him on the island. Yugi splits his 2 star chips with him, so they both start with 1, so they have to climb higher. Joey gets almost all of his star chips from a couple of battles. He defeats Mai straight up, which gives him a decent start, and then he gets most of what he needs from Rex Raptor. Does he play a third game, or is Rex just a stupid enough idiot to bet all his chips?
Doesn't he?
No, because he duels Bones, and he also gets some for Para and Doc.
Right. Yes. Okay. So
Remember?
now he fights 4 matches. But all of his 4 like games pre the finals are won off of the back of luck.
Yes. Whereas in
he correctly calls a time roulette. He correctly calls a time roulette against Rex Raptor.
He correctly calls a time roulette against Bones, I also believe.
No, that's Sword and Shield. That's just that I think is the closest he comes to actually being skillful, is he just realized, wait a minute, zombies have no fucking defense points. Yugi told me that Sword and Shield is a really good card. Why? Again, implying that you can't just look at the card text and understand what the card does. But, you know, it's one of those weird things. And Paradox is in a tag... well, not a tag team, because it's 2v2. But he's in a team battle where he does pull his weight, and without access to, like, Red Eyes, they would not have been able to make Black Skull Dragon. But he definitely is the weaker member of his duo.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But he defeats Bandit Keith through, like, perseverance and doing Joey's other thing, which is stealing his opponent's strategy. Oh, you played a really cool card. Let me copycat Grave Robber that shit. Let me snatch steal that shit, brother.
I just feel like he gets more of skill-based wins in Battle City.
Yeah, I think the closest he comes to pure skill is actually against Yugi.
Merrick.
And even then, in Duelist Kingdom. And even then, it still comes down to a timed roulette that he only loses because Yugi is like, by the way, Dark Sage.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Like, just plays his strat plays to his outs and just doesn't win. just loses anyway.
Well, yeah, no,
no,
Yugi, while Joey has luck, Yugi has the power of bullshit.
Joey's character arc is really good, though, culminating in Battle City and him like straight up,
his
straight
entire
up
arc
against
over
Merrick
Battle
just
City
being like,
is amazing.
"What do you mean he didn't die to God?" Yeah, no, our boys made him tougher stuff.
He nearly beats the final antagonist.
Like,
and only does it because it was literally, if they were playing a normal duel, he would have
Yeah, I'm
won.
about to say, if it was a normal table game, he would have outskilled his opponent. It's just that because they were playing an evil shadow game, he's fucking dying because
he dies.
he's being blasted by ancient Egyptian magic. That's another factor that I don't know if we would put that in like Red Eye's half or in Metalmorph, but I would really love to show the part about how Red Eyes beats fucking Raw. Like, you know, but unfortunately, Raw is as a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Raw has the problem that it was supposed to be the strongest, coolest one, and it was one of the shittiest ones, so they had to add a shitload of legacy support to make Raw cool. So
well,
I don't think...
I would say arguably as a card, it is pretty strong. It's just...
All of the original printing of the God cards are pretty bad. Regular pre-support
Slifer is the worst.
Was only... Yes, Slifer is the worst. Obelisk was only worth it because he is
I know
4K.
I know it's biased, but unironically, Duelist King GX has the order correct.
Yes.
Unironically.
I mean, it makes me wonder if because I don't think the playable versions were printed yet. They just accidentally called their shot. Because like it makes total sense from Kaiba's POV as like the number one funder of the school to be Slifer sucks. Raw's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Obelisk is the best. But that is
it's
actually
the person
how
he hates,
their stats.
It's because the person he hates the second most in the entire world is Yugi. He hates Joey more.
True.
Which is my favorite running gag. I believe it's an actual canon line. There's like, Mokuba, make sure he's late.
Yeah. I want to say that's very funny, however, as a transverse, because Alexis's older brother, an Obelisk player, is the Red Eyes guy in GX. And I have seen some fan art going around lately. Some people have been talking about their headcanon that because the two shows are in continuity, that clearly means that Atticus watched Joey on TV in Battle City and went, that guy, that's my guy. I'm going to be him.
So once you figure out his actual personality, that makes sense. That checks.
Once he stops being evil, yeah, and it's like, no, I like that. I like that headcanon. And he's just that good that he can still make it into Obelisk, despite the fact that he's playing fucking Red Eyes.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of plays Dragon Tribal, essentially.
Well, and I mean, that makes sense because I believe they've been doing a lot of interviews about GX because it's an anniversary year. They talked about how the GX writers, in several interviews, they talked about that they did not necessarily write duels around new product, and they did not write duels to become new product necessarily, but Konami would drop them lines. So they showed them the two first structure decks, including Dragon's Roar, which has Red Eye's Darkness on the cover, and they were like, ooh, we could animate that guy. And basically they took the deck list from Dragon's Roar and applied it to Atticus as Night Shroud, and then that just kind of stuck. You know, it was just a weird case where they saw it.
Unfortunately, he has one of the worst on-screen win records of all time. Against named opponents, he is 1-8.
I think, honestly, isn't GX really bad about that?
Yeah.
If you are a named side character in GX, your win rate is probably pretty bad.
Not necessarily, I would say. It's better than it has a reputation for.
True.
But, because
Dallas, let us phrase it this way. What's the correct wrestling term? GX does not do a good job of putting over most of their characters. If you actually look at their win-loss rate, you do not think of many of them as successful.
The problem I feel like the problem is every villain except for the last one is like a school-wide assault, so everyone has to duel all the time.
True. Honestly, I think before we talk about what Incoming Machine does, and I explain to you what that other trap card is, as Loth said, we are a little further afield. But for a while, it was just me and Dallas, so, we've just been kind of vibing.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
But
sorry.
Came up.
I do want to say that I think that's something that Arc V did pretty good, ironically, with the Fusion Dimension that's the evil version of Duelist Academy, is that they had lots of literal masked mooks for you to fight with kind of like a boilerplate deck. Like, that is a great way to basically just create jobbers for your faceless mooks for your Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist to take out. That works to keep everybody's win rate on the up and up. But it was important to mention that anime stuff because if you don't know that about Incoming Machine, you would not understand why it does it. But yeah, Incoming Machine is a normal spell that says add a monster that mentions Max Metalmorph or a Metalmorph trap from your deck to or graveyard to hand. There's a lot of and graveyard adding here, which is very important. But yes, so this searches any of the new Max Metalmorph monsters or any Metalmorph trap, depending on what you need, which is very good. If you control a Metalmorph trap, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a defense position your opponent controls, change it to face-up attack. You can only use this effect once per turn. So the search effect, by the way, is not once per turn. But yes, it has stop defense built in, which is also important because I believe Metal Zoa X says it only targets face-up monsters, and Full Metal only does burn damage on attack position monsters. So its banish effect actually enables your plays. Like if your opponent just sets some cards to try and get around your strat, you just go, nah.
I'd win.
So no, Incoming Machine is a great card.
Yeah. It's also hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean it's got an exclamation point. It's one of the few. Time Engine, which is actually technically in the OCG is Time Machine Time Engine. They just call it Time Engine to make it simpler. This is a normal trap that says, first of all, this is always treated as a Metalmorph card. Thank you. Love parentheticals. So it doesn't have to be called Metalmorph Time Engine. Does mean, by the way, like I said, you could do something with Grave Robber and also just make it a Metalmorph trap. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, target one of those monsters, special summon it. If you special summoned a level 5 or higher machine monster by this effect, and you have a Metalmorph trap in your field or graveyard, except this card, you can apply this effect. Destroy as many monsters as your opponent controls as possible, inflict damage equal to that special summon monster's original attack. So, Dallas, you lamented Battle Tricks. I have won off this card because people don't put any... People have watched me literally search this card. Literally search this card. Set it on the board. They still play into it, and they get fucking killed.
You're telling me card game players don't read cards? I don't believe you.
I know, shocking. But yes, you probably only play it as a one-of because as a Metalmorph trap, it is super searchable in this deck. But do not underestimate the ability for you to go, oh, you actually blew up my Full Metal Dragon? Fuck you, he's back, by the way. He's come back, and also, all your monsters are dead. And also, take 34. Fuck you, actually. How dare you?
That is just a very much fuck you.
But it's yeah.
But it's one of those cards that, like I said, if your opponent actually plays around it, it's pretty easy to play around. They just pop it first, and then they get rid of your monsters. But yeah, and obviously it doesn't do anything if they're, like, banished instead of destroyed, but it does work against battle. So this can absolutely be a battle trick. Your opponent thinks, aha, I've got you. I'll run over your monster, and then you go, no, you return.
No.
You are dead.
Yeah.
And that is the thing you talked about, Dallas. Time Engine is a very Yu-Gi-Oh card because it is only good as a reversal. You cannot activate this card unless your opponent destroys your monster. I mean, I guess you could crash in battle if you were doing that, but still, the odds that you're doing that are going to be very low if you're playing Time Engine. It's an absolutely reversal card, and it's so fun to fucking slam that together.
No, I agree. There needs to be more cards like that. In decks
and
that are...
I think Konami sometimes thinks of this. They try to bring back classics, but they're very wary, like I said, because unfortunately when any one deck gets a little too samey, people kind of complain. It's almost like I'm trying to think, like, I feel like Konami needs to, like, arrange a way that they can release, like, multiple tier 1 decks that play completely differently all at the same time. because that rarely happens. There are a couple of times when that has happened, but it's very rare. And that, I feel like, is the state we need, because you need to be able to have, like, a battle trap control type deck separate from, like, a pure Unga Bunga OTK deck separate from whatever the fuck Craft is doing. Also, Dallas, it's funny you mentioned that about Yu-Gi-Oh! Players not reading, or card game players in general. We'll be fair.
I know,
that is what
Magic
people are
players
saying.
are not immune.
That is what people are saying is why Craft is getting wins, is just because people refuse to read the text on the card. Yeah, they're just I don't know what these weird flip pendulums do.
I'm not going to give Magic players that. They are just as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh! Players.
No, I don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh!
How to make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player explode, show them Nirvana High Paladin.
Well, yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say. I know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Players got the reputation as the guys who don't read. It's because of Pendy Endy and Nirvana High Paladin. By the way, watch the finale of Junior Journey. It just came out finally after like a year.
Look, I need to catch up on some things. I have finally caught up on fucking
I've been
Master
rewatching
Chef.
it.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching Junior Journey, which is a hilarious format.
No, it is. It's very funny. I do kind of agree, though, like MBT talked about at the front of the video, which is basically like, we quiet quit because, like, once you get to, like, modern formats like BA and beyond, Junior Journey just looks like normal Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just you play even less spell traps.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like, literally, I think MBT's deck list is Numeron Dragon OTK, and he's just like, I'm literally not playing traps. Fuck a trap. Who cares?
Honestly, something they might have wanted to do, I don't know if they did this, because I don't... Yeah, no, they didn't do this. I just finished the wind-up episode. Something they might have wanted to do, limit one special summon per turn.
Yeah, that would definitely make things a little more even. That's not what's in the official Junior Journey rules, but we could
That's true, but that would have maybe helped with the modern problem.
Okay, so... Sorry.
Okay.
What's next?
That is actually it. I talked about... We prevaricated a lot, so we probably won't do Flame Swordsman. How long have we gone? 2.5 hours almost? So yeah, we won't do Flame Swordsman as well at the end here. But this was always supposed to be a shorter one. But like I said, Metalmorph is a pretty good attempt at a retrain archetype. The Metalmorph trap basically does what you would expect from Metalmorph based on the anime and manga. The monsters do stuff that is, like, modern but also foreseeable. Again, the main problem with this deck is just Konami gave you, like, 2 normal summons, and then just stopped for some reason.
The main problem with this deck is that it has been taken over by Bestials and Fiendsmith.
Well, yeah, that is the unfortunate problem. Like I said before, to kind of, like, wrap around to what I said at the beginning, in the end here, to restate the conclusion, talking about essay construction. Metalmorph is a very tight engine. It's very cool. I like it a lot. The problem is that it's from that period in 23, 24, where Konami was designing every deck to be 20 cards, so you can play the other 20 cards as either 15 hand traps or a second sub-engine. And also probably still fit in 9 hand traps. Which means that, unfortunately, the way people do that is they're like, I've got hand trap space. Let's play all the Bestials, or it's, I can play a lean engine. Let's also play a second Fiendsmith engine, because that will bait out the Ash Blossom. And it's like, I get it, but definitely, like, I personally do not like those decks. I do not like that style of game design. I won't say it's bad, but I don't like it when the design goal of a deck is to be half a deck. Because I don't want to play Fiendsmith or Tearlament or whatever.
I will say this. I think it is bad design because in Yu-Gi-Oh! There is always a correct answer for it.
I guess, yeah, like I said, if Konami actually had, like, multiple good sub-engines running at the same time, which they occasionally have, but it's usually very rare, that would be okay if you could play... like, Metalmorph as either a Fiendsmith deck, or if you could play it with, like, a Primite package. The problem is that you can't really play a Primite package, so Fiendsmith is just the only generic package to play it with. Or Bestials, or, you know, whatever. Like I said, you can play it as, like, a Dragon Link Splash. So, like, it's neat, but I think if Konami wants the deck to be good on its own, to stand out on its own, they need to give it a couple of extra targets. Like I said, please do a well, not even a retrain because you never printed the original, but do Heavy Metal King as like a spellcaster target. Illusionist is already a spellcaster who changes his level, so you could do that so that even if your opponent like effect veilers it or imperms it on turn 1, when it goes around to your opponent's turn, it's a valid target. That would actually be a really good solution to the deck's problems. Make it another one like Metal Flame Swordsman that you can shuffle back and search anything.
And like, I don't hate the idea of engines. I just hate that the engines are so figured out.
Yeah. It's a case, like I said, where like there are times when Konami designs cards to clearly be an engine. We still haven't done a Fiendsmith episode. We'll do it sometime because they are really cool to look at, and it's very funny. The backstory of Fiendsmith is literally Devil May Cry, but there's no Virgil. We can't afford the rights to Virgil, basically, so it's Oops All Dante. That's again, chat. They've published the card lores on Fiendsmith. It's literally Devil May Cry. The Fiendsmith is a guy who beats up demons and forces them to become weapons. Dunzo. And then Fiendsmith Lacrima is he meets a hot female demon who falls in love with him and interprets his contract as a marriage proposal, so she just hangs out.
Oh.
It's
funny.
Very goofy. But like Fiendsmith is one of those things that's just like, oh yeah, this deck is designed to be an engine. There's not enough card names that you would actually play all of these in this deck, you know. And it's a really weird case where like we said, I don't hate engines. I think engine design can be really fun. The problem is that there was a period, which I think Konami is starting to lean out of again, where it felt like every other archetype was actually an engine in a trench coat, right? And they're just like, oh yeah, this is never going to be a complete deck. We're designing this to be a compact engine you play inside of another deck.
I also think there's just too many. I think there are too many generic powerful engines. Is the other issue? Because I know you hate the deck, Omega. I know you hate it. But I love Branded as an engine deck because you get to run a bunch of weird fusion engines that you can't really run in most other places.
I mean, honestly, if I felt like Branded players actually splash stuff more, I probably would hate it less. It's just
unfortunately, a lot of Branded players are paste eaters, so
the Branded fusion or die strategy of Branded makes me cringe. I know I have no legs to stand on. Actually, no, I have a few legs to stand on because I don't actually play Red Eyes anymore. But I understand trying to make your pet deck work for literal years. The problem is that Branded actually is a good deck that arguably continues to be meta because Konami has correctly interpreted Albaz and Ecclesia as a cash cow. And then, I won't say fucked it up completely, but did not do their best with the animation showing. The 8-minute shorts, and they didn't even get to the cool parts of the lore.
God.
Listen, the animation studio's brand new. They started it like a year before those shorts came out. I understand. But, like, maybe don't start too ambitious. And now they're on, like, Charmers episodes, which is just like, you're not going to get me excited for that. Honestly, the Sky Striker shorts could have been cooler if they actually adapted the Sky Striker manga, but instead they just did, like, 8 minutes total across 2 4-minute episodes that was just, like, contextless, sauceless.
Like, really fucking up.
Do you have storytelling? No, we've got hype moments and aura. That was the 2 Sky Striker shorts.
Well, not even, like, though.
Well, yeah, they were bare. They were
that's the thing.
Saucy.
It's like if you compare the animation quality of that to like really good animation nowadays, it's just poopy.
Oh, hold on. I think I have a GIF for this actually.
I mean, what's the anime/manga that people make the hype aura and moments, or the moments and
Jujutsu Kaisen probably.
Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm pretty sure that looks better than the Sky Striker.
Oh god, yes.
Like, nobody can say that Jujutsu Kaisen looks bad.
I mean, you can say it stylistically is not your thing, but you cannot say it looks low quality.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, and we know what low quality looks like because they're making the third season of One Punch Man.
Of One Punch Man.
Yes.
I maintain that it's not as bad as people are saying it is, but the problem is the mangaka for One Punch Man has no chill at all, and is a fucking, like, insane masterpiece man. So, like, comparatively, it looks garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, so, like, Konami's in a weird place with some of the way they make these decks. Like I said, I would love to see them release a couple more Metalmorph cards because, like we said...
Make another show, Konami.
Oh, God. Also, yes, please, make another core anime. That was, like...
Like, even if you want to do some weird shit, like, I know not everyone liked Go Rush. I liked Go Rush because it was fucking weird.
Oh, I will also say this, like, genuinely, I know people bitch about anime filler cards. I think when you can point to pack filler cards in an expansion pack and be like, well, this was in the anime, like, that just makes marketing those sets so much easier than Konami just has to keep making up new pack filler. Like...
Also, hey, here's the secret. And this is from a Magic player. If your card is based on a property, it will gain artificial value regardless of any actual usefulness. I know this because of the price of a lot of the Final Fantasy cards.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean
say,
about
probably...
like the pack filler, right? Like if you have to make up random anime archetypes or random anime one-off cards, you can put those in core sets, and they're automatically more meaningful because somebody can point to them and say, "Oh yeah, that was a thing in the anime."
Dallas, in the wild, when I had work, I heard people in the break room talking about the fucking One Ring card in Magic.
Yep.
But yeah, give me Heavy Metal King. Give me a Blast Sphere retrain. Give me a.
It is a very dumb card.
Give me a whatchamacallit, a Grave Robber retrain.
Then again, I feel like a lot of people I work with are also fucking nerds. I got to listen to one of my line managers talk about the was it the Necron army?
Yeah.
You know, you got stuff to do.
Being nerdy is no longer like a social stigma. It just isn't. I don't know what caused that, but
there was something in the late 2000s, 2010s. Like,
I
honestly,
feel like
Lucky
the
and I have
late
talked about
2000s
this.
started it, and then COVID absolutely killed it.
Yeah, COVID made it go crazy because it's like everybody needed something to do with their time, and
Yeah,
guess what? The only shit you can do inside is nerd hobbies, nerd shit.
Welcome,
play
all
video games with
tourists.
cardboard.
We have to gatekeep harder sometimes.
Like-
Well, no, what I want to say is that Lucky and I have talked about this. I think some of our current problems in our society are that nerds are too assured of their societal dominance, so they feel too
Yes.
comfortable voicing their loud opinions, and it's like,
Yes.
when I was a
and-
kid, you would get fucking thrown in a locker for saying some of this shit, and, like, I'm not gonna say we're gonna bring back the bullying, but, like...
No, Omega, I will say it. There are some people who are speaking truths that need to cause them to be bullied or beaten. I'll say it.
No. Like, there's...
Like...
People have gotten too comfortable stating certain opinions out loud, and it's just like, no, we really shouldn't. I
Certain
understand
things becoming
for freedom of
socially
expression,
acceptable
but,
is
like,
just a net negative. Well, they're free to express it. I'm just also free to beat your ass.
Captain America is always morally justified to punch a Nazi.
Exactly.
True fact about our world. And people are like, no, my political violence. It's like, no,
No, fuck you. Your
is
politics
like-
are violence. Your
Cat fascism sucks.
If your politics are violence, you don't get to talk.
Yeah, chat, fascism sucks. That's the short of it.
No.
This is just how it is.
Good old fascismo.
Like, I was having a very good discussion with someone yesterday about...
Thank you, Aaron.
No, I think Omega will co-sign that particular opinion. Not all of my opinions are reflected by Studio Omega.
The thing Dallas said about bullying is something I won't agree to on air, just in case. Because of this website's policies,
that's
I'm sure,
fair.
which are about it. The day YouTube gets at me for saying, like, punch a fascist is, like, that's when I think I have to find
That's
a
the day
different
when
platform.
we have to. That's the day when I have to look at my travel visa.
That's where we're like, what is this saying about our world?
Yeah, no,
Metalmorph's cool, chat.
no, Metamorph was cool.
Sorry,
I was away for a lot of it, but I mean, it looks cool, I guess.
I mean,
Wait.
I think they changed the points around that I can play this in Genesis. When we do another Genesis night, I might try to make this work.
Oh, fuck
They had
off.
Incoming Machine as a 33-point card for a while, and it's just like, ugh, it's bad.
Well,
They
ever
switched it
since
so
you
Full Metal Dragon is a 33.
Ever since you told me, Omega, I'm just gonna bring fucking ancient gears again.
Hey, that seems fine.
I mean, that
we'll
works.
figure that out. We'll figure that out. We'll see who wins.
I'm immensely sad that my favorite deck is not in.
Well,
Well,
this is what I
Dallas,
said
I
earlier,
can't
like,
play
they
my
might-
favorite deck.
I wonder if Genesis will ever evolve to a point where they put the pen zones back or what. Like I said before,
My dumbass
I think the
big
only reason
evil
why-
dragon man.
I think the only reason why pendulums are excluded is because they removed the EMZ entirely, which, like I said, based on the current master rule, means they can't do pens and they can't do links, which also coincidentally appeals to Yugi boomers. But I think it was truly just like when trying to simplify the game state, they were like,
But like,
"Man, the EMZ is weird."
Yugi boomers don't deserve happiness.
I mean, also, Yugi boomers can play
Well,
retro
people that
for
make
now
that-
anyway.
People that make that their personality. Like when I hear the word Yugi boomer, I think of people who like needlessly go to other places to complain about what the hell. Sorry, I saw I'm seeing a trailer for something that I did not think is gonna have a season 3 because the main character died. But I guess he's a zombie now. The fuck? Yeah, they're doing a 3rd season of Primal. Okay.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
It's a very, I would recommend it highly. Oh god, what's the guy's name? He's
It's
extremely
Gendy Tarkovsky,
fitness. Yeah, Tarkovsky.
right? Yeah, Gendy.
Did
played,
a
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, Gendy.
Clone Wars, the first one.
Yeah, it's about like a caveman and his dinosaur friend.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's very
I remember
good.
hearing about this.
I don't know how it's getting a 3rd. Well, like I said, he's a zombie now.
Who knows?
Because spoiler, the main character dies in the last episode of the 2nd season.
Anyway, I'm gonna rush us along because I saw someone boot up Project Zomboid.
Yeah. We have future plans. We're gonna move to secret gaming, I think. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Next week will be whatever won the Patreon poll. Let me go check.
God, what could it be?
Because I know we have plans for new polls. As we said, we want to put in,
Will I talk about cute fairy girls? Let's see. What is the fairy tale win?
Well, I don't think Fairy Tale's up yet because we posted this at the start of the month. You want to be Fairy Tale next, and then Dallas is going to be credit point, but
Oh shit.
I don't
Okay.
do that yet.
Damn.
So let's see.
I don't know what I was on this poll.
I don't really even think I added anything this fall. I can't remember.
But our winner, with only 2 votes, because it was pretty tight as usual, Fiendsmith only had 1 vote, is Super Heavy Sam's. So we're going to finally talk about Big Benkei. Hopefully Vesper can...
Okay,
Yes.
hold on.
I
I'm
might
gonna make
actually
an
come against
executive
one.
decision to
as well.
drag Vesper and Robin in here that day.
I don't know what
love Super
Robin's
Heavy
schedule
Sam.
is to also do that, but I'll say this right now. I won't do the Super Heavy episode until Vesper is here, just because we've been Big Benkei too much.
And I would also request you wait for me because I actually play the deck.
Oh, yeah. We'll try and get
Oh
some
yeah, but
episodes in
Vesper
there.
is the reason we have that Big Benkei.
Vesper gave us
PTSD.
PTSD about Big Benkei specifically.
Oh yeah, no,
Sausage
that
with that big
was
man.
that big man, that large man,
That big
large
movie.
nice man.
But thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. We'll be back with more Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow. We'll probably do our weekly Arcadion runs and other stuff. I did get one more treasure map out of a Chloe map, so we'll see what we're doing. You might see me play Black Mage and Roulettes. I got that at level 50 finally.
I'm still playing the Old Republic.
Hey,
And
God, the
stay
dark side
tuned
choices
for-
in this game are hilarious.
They're very funny.
Oh yeah, I'm not
stay
sure if it's been
tuned
said to you
for
in
what-
person, Dallas, but you need to get on to 14 and get up to the recent Raid series because it's just wrestling.
The normal raids for Dawn Trail is just a wrestling storyline. It's true. It's very
That's fair.
good. It's very good.
We get
Also,
called,
yes,
you,
the
you
one
get
more
called
thing I was gonna say-
babyface.
Yeah, it's true. They do say you are. Sorry. The next thing also to keep an eye out for, because it's going to be New Year's for FGO, is the New Year's Wanted. The Yamato Takeru episode is scripted, for instance, and I will be shooting it shortly. So if you want to get that early, support us on Patreon. You want to get it regular time, stay tuned. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks, everybody. Make sure to give us your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. And we'll see you for more stuff in the new year. Good night, everybody.